You're listening to the Fire in the Hole podcast with Richard and Jason, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
If you like the show, you can help us out by supporting us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and by rating and reviewing us on iTunes.
If you want to be a guest on the show, or you want to get in touch, drop us a line at fireintheholepodcast@gmail.com. That's fireintheholepodcast@gmail.com.
Enjoy the show.
Today on the show, we have Montreal stand-up comic Amer Rez returning to the show to introduce us to his other passion, smoking shisha. Amer came over with all of his shisha gear and shows us how it's done. We talk and smoke shisha, and then stand-up comedy and dating in 2017. You can find Amer on Facebook and on Twitter as @AmerRez. That's AMERREZ. He's got some upcoming dates too. August 16th, he'll be in Ottawa at Absolute Comedy. On the 18th and 21st of August, he'll be at the ComedyWorks. On the 22nd, he'll be in Gatineau at Höpenmyke. On the 23rd, Absolute Comedy in Kingston. And on the 30th, he'll be at Stand the Fuck Up at Mademoiselle Bar. Jason also has some dates coming up. He'll be on the 18th, he'll be at the Comedy at the Art Loft. And on the 27th, he'll be at Comedy Abroad at Mbar. Without further ado, here is stand-up comic / shisha connoisseur Amer Rez on Fire in the Hole.
Shisha, also known as hookah, nargal and water pipe, is a centuries-old practice, originating from the Middle East region and parts of Asia and Africa. In recent years, it has grown in popularity in the UK and other Western countries, amongst men and women, cigarette smokers and non-smokers. Also, when it comes to socialising, shisha has become a huge alternative for many people across cultural groups.
How you been, man?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Ubering, comedy, discovering, reading. After I listened to the podcast I made with you guys and I realized I can't speak English. Well, you notice that.
No,
the thing that sucks. What is it again?
The thing that sucks, the suction
thing?
The suction thing,
For
when you're
a
referring to for a fan. No, but I think it's, as a comic, you have a unique opportunity here to embrace, write what you know, is what they say. And your English doesn't suck at all. It's some colloquialisms. Colloquial.
I love how that happens as you're critiquing someone's ability to speak English.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a colloquialism. Colloquialisms, you see, are very intrinsic to, but phrasal verbs, shit like that, expressions, they change all the time. That's the last stuff you pick up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're doing fine.
It's just also, you're not used to having your voice recorded and listening to it.
Yeah, because when you're talking on the street...
I interrupt a lot, like right now.
Yeah. When you... it's fine. When you're talking on the street, a bunch of the stuff that really doesn't make sense to what you're saying, there's like a secret agreement to to discard that information. But when you're recording it, obviously, it all makes...
Since your own voice.
We're going to be doing a lot of this.
Guys, when you do you drink the mango. This is the rules of the shisha.
Oh, is it?
Whenever you feel like, oh, my throat is getting a bit ticklish.
So for those of you joining us in the audio sphere, which is everybody, as we don't have video yet.
NSA is watching, man.
NSA, man, they want to get us, man. We are joined by Mr. Amer Rez, who has fulfilled his promise, his pledge.
Yes, sir.
On the first time we had him on. If you'll recall, I don't know if he did it on the air, but he did make a substantial pledge to delight us with his shisha wares and his very specialized blend of was it double apple and whatever.
I'll be the sommelier for
yes.
Break it down for us.
So Richard right now is smoking grape mint, Al-Fakhr grape mint, the same as you, Jason.
I'm loving it.
United from the United Arabs. It's Al-Fakhr or Al-Fakhr for English speaking. He is smoking from a Khalil Mamoon. I don't remember exactly the model, but it's a Khalil Mamoon that I bought from Chicago. He's smoking from a funnel head. That's with an F. It's a specific type of a head. The way they design it is that the tobacco juices don't drip. The tobacco stays in its juices, and the air just does a little loop and goes inside the water and then comes out. Jason is smoking also grape mint from a Mia shisha. It's an excellent Chinese shisha, but it's like a top quality Chinese shisha, also from a funnel head. And I'm smoking from also a Mia with a funnel head, Nakhla double apple, which is a more robust. Richard would agree. You want to try?
Yeah, maybe just have a little.
Right. This is the part where we have to be very careful when we pull the hose. Whoa! That could have been dangerous.
maybe
you know what? Yeah, maybe we should. We'll wait.
You know what? Let's just smoke. Stick to your hose, brother.
Yeah.
Stick to your hose.
Buddy.
But I'll definitely try it later. This is really great. I mean, you just Amer just busted in here with like 6 bags. Looked like he was moving in, and he just like he made us mango juice.
Oh, guys, I'm moving in. I forgot to mention.
That's cool.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So it's gonna sound like we're I don't know, like we're smoking bongs.
Or we're in an aquarium, you know, like in a blah, 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 like the bubbles of an aquarium.
We are kind of smoking bongs.
We are
it is
sort
a
of.
form of, it's a kind of a bong.
We're just not putting anything, you know.
It's going to be high on nicotine. That's all.
Exactly.
That's
We're not
right.
putting any wacky tobacco in there today. It would not be conducive to, it would certainly not make me talk less.
And that's illegal, Jason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think of the children.
Yeah.
Yes, and it makes you
Smoke tobacco, kids,
it's
not weed.
alcohol and tobacco, kids. Stay away from the dangerous stuff.
Usually, I don't drink beer when I smoke shisha. Just it's bastardizes the taste.
Does it go together?
No.
Well,
and we're also drinking mango juice with frozen mangoes put inside in a blender. My mom's blender. Thank you, Mom, if you're listening.
Double mango.
Thanks,
Double
Amer's
mango.
mom.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amer's mom.
So double apple, double mango, triple shisha, and fire in a hole. This is great. This is fucking awesome. We don't even need to talk about anything, guys. We can
That's
just
it.
sit here like the cat in Alice in Wonderland. Is it the cat? No, the what is it? The caterpillar?
Yeah, it was the caterpillar. Yeah.
The caterpillar, and just fucking.
Who are you?
Yeah. When I was deep into shisha, like when I was
Yeah, take us
obsessed.
back, man. How does this start? This whole
Oh.
obsession.
16, 17, trying to hang out with my older brother. I used to go to Arabesque
Of
with
course.
his with the engineering friends. This is where you go when you're an engineer. You don't get laid. You go smoke shisha.
That's who those guys were.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my brother and then me. And
This
then
is next to Concordia, right? Like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
used to go
second
there.
floor one. Yeah.
it's good shisha.
And
They
there was
keep
the other.
updating it.
There was the Egyptian place.
The
that-
Shisha Nazi.
The Shisha Nazi. Yeah.
Have you spoken about the Shisha Nazi?
We've never talked
He was
about
one
it.
of my best friends.
He loved me.
You love me too.
He loved me.
We're the only 2 people in Montreal who he loved.
I think we were the only 2. He fucking hated everybody. And he would kick people out, take their shishas away. It was very weird. He was a. Didn't he deal drugs? I heard he dealt drugs.
Listen, there's a lot of rumors about that man. I used to smoke at his house after he closed the store. All right, so here's the story with the Shisha Nazi.
He was so legit Egyptian. Go
The
on.
first time I went there, I think Arabesque was closed, and we needed a place to smoke. So I was with my friend Eddie, and we were like, hey, let's go smoke. He's like, dude, I'm Jewish. He's clearly not Jew friendly.
He's clearly not.
I'm like, dude, don't worry, let's walk in. So I walked in. I was very polite, and he prepared me a shisha. And every time I went there, I mean, how many times have you seen him kick people out of the store?
A lot.
You came for the shisha, Richard, and you stayed for the show. Delicious shisha. I still have pictures of me and him. You came for the shisha, and you just watch him just shit on everybody trying to walk in. He once had a black guy walk in, and he used to sell like those rosemaries and Egyptian touristy things in his store.
Okay.
That's why he was so legit.
Yeah.
He even had the
Legit.
quote unquote. He had the Egyptian music cassette tapes and the whole bit. Yeah, he was like somebody took a souvenir shop somewhere in Cairo and just fucking rented out this place and shoved it in there.
In the tiny, like the narrowest place ever.
It made no sense. Anyway,
So a black guy walks in, and he's like, how much for this? And he pointed to something. And in Arabic, he says 20 Sudanis, which I found hilarious.
20 Sudanis.
20 Sudanis.
What does that even mean?
Like 20 black guys. Like, you want to buy this? It will cost you 20 black guys, which I found just... And then he closed the store, and I remember walking in,
Yeah.
and he saw one of my friends, and he gave him his phone number, and we started going to his house and smoking. He had a fucking
Where the fuck
nice
did he
house.
live?
He lived like 2 streets downtown. He had a nice house. He had a Porsche for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how he had his money.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it was drugs.
Everybody that I knew claim that like there were several people at different times that told me that he sold hash or something.
That's a possibility. And by the way, I don't want to. I'm the one who gave him the name Shisha Nazi.
Really?
It came from the soup
Really?
Nazi,
Soup Nazi?
and it was like Seinfeld days, and he became the Shisha Nazi because it was literally the same persona, just changed her. Instead
There's
of
no soup.
There's no soup. But he did make a mean fool. You know, fool, the beans.
Yeah.
He made a mean fool.
Well, to be fair, I didn't spend a lot of time there, but you didn't even have to go in. You just had to walk by the place. There used to be an arcade next door, I think, back in the day.
Wait, where was this exactly?
This is on Guy and St. Catherine.
You know the
Oh,
Pharmaprix?
okay, that's
The
the one.
Pharmaprix and McDonald's?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
squeezed in between the two.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a narrow... Honestly, it was maybe 3 meters
It was a corridor.
wide. Yeah, it was a corridor.
And then he moved over a couple blocks, right?
No, he closed shop and he disappeared.
Okay.
We smoked shisha at his house until he became an asshole to my Vietnamese friend and started doing jokes about the Vietnamese. I'm like, I'm not. And it was weird. You're
racist
chilling.
old Egyptian.
Yeah. You're like, I
Shisha
can't.
Nazi.
Dude, he was so sad. He used to call my friend like, "Where's Amer? Why doesn't Amer come?" I went after at the end of my bachelor. I traveled a bit, and so for 3 months I was not in Montreal. He used to call my friend like every 3-4 days, like, "Hey, where's Amer? When is he coming back?
Where
I
the fuck
miss
did
him."
this guy come from?
I have no idea.
Did nobody know his story? Like,
Nobody knows his story.
no kids, no nothing?
No, he had, I think, 2 boys. I have pictures of him. If I find them, I'll send them to you. Just me and him just chilling.
That's amazing. Yeah, I
the
met,
whole time.
literally, I talked to him once, and for some reason he decided he liked me. And after that, when he'd hang out around in front of the place, if I'd pass by on a hot summer night or whatever, he'd practically hug me when I passed by, and I'd be like, "Hey," like I was an old customer of his, and I'd been
Like
in
a
there
son.
like 5 times, like a son.
Like
he
a
did.
son.
He didn't no longer had.
That he would
Anywho,
not sell for Sudanese. Like a son.
so as a kid,
Yeah.
you used to go to
Yeah.
Arabesque.
So I used to go Arabesque, and I think every artist I've met, now that I hang out with artists, they have like that obsessive gene, and I just became obsessed with shisha. So I just started reading about it, and I joined forums online.
You went
I
full
went deep,
retard.
deep. I went full retard. Yeah, it was crazy, and I was just smoking every day and tried to. I realized that shisha production, the quality control isn't great.
There's no real centralized.
So
shisha.
sometimes you would smoke a double apple, and it was just amazing. And then 2 boxes later, you're smoking. It's as if you're smoking a box of cat litter, and you're like, "What happened, Nakhla? What happened?" So I was trying always like chasing the dragon. I was spending way too much time and just way too much money. Like honestly, half of my travels were shisha based. I went to Turkey to buy a specific Elmas shisha. It's a beautiful, heavy, like 20-pound shisha. It's beautiful. Egypt. Shisha in Egypt are disgusting, by the way.
They're disgusting.
Oh my god, I had throat infection when I went there.
Okay, so it's more
'Cause
of a
it's-
hygiene problem.
It's just shit. It's like the shisha costs 50 cents because you're smoking. I swear, I was smoking once in Cairo with my friend, and the baby, just a fucking baby, just walked in his diapers, and he's like, "Hey, you want to buy a box of Kleenex?" And you're like, "What the hell's going on?"
Straight up.
From the
In that
street,
voice?
just walked in.
Hey,
Hey, get up!
You want some Kleenex?
It was, you know those small boxes of Kleenexes, like those little, like a packet,
The single serving ones.
lemon flavored. I remember they smelled like lemon. He's like, "Hey, you want to buy it?" And you're like, "What's going on? He's a baby."
Fell out of a tourist's
Yeah.
like suitcase.
How much shisha do you have to smoke, baby, to get that voice?
And it's crazy. You know how they clean the floor? I don't know. I haven't seen that anywhere else. But I don't know if it was that store or the country. But like they throw some type
I'd like
of
to think
ash.
it's the store.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. No, the whole country is disgusting.
I went to this one place. Your country sucks.
Actually, the country does suck, but the people are the friendliest. I have to say,
They would.
the friend like
They would agree.
they are. They're friendly. They're funny. Compared to Moroccans who
No, but I mean-
always try to screw you.
They would agree that the country sucks,
Yeah.
but the people are good.
Dude, they had leaded gas when the
Leaded
coughing
gas?
begins. Yeah, they had leaded gas when. I don't know if it's still the case.
Where do you even find that?
It was the air was disgusting, but the people were so super friendly.
Like it still looks like an Indiana Jones set, still in some places, like crazy.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the baby selling you.
With the baby, the baby.
Hey, get up.
You've had a sort of as long as I've known you, you've mingled with the shisha.
Yeah, I've always had a shisha and a fish tank since I was like 17.
It's like that was the first belongings.
Yeah, it just
Was it
Felt
Shireen
right.
or was it any of those guys? Was it predates all that or?
yeah, I think it was Shireen, but then he stopped smoking at a certain point. But
So the first time you discovered your power to attract Middle Eastern people to you. He does have he's like
That's
Egyptians especially.
I have a,
Come here, kids.
Yeah.
Like little squirrels.
They're naturally drawn to him. It's
true.
ridiculous.
Sweets and tobacco. Like,
You could literally drop him in Switzerland. He'll find 5 Egyptian people living there, and they'll become his best
start
friends.
a podcast.
Yeah.
Seriously, the Middle
Exactly.
Eastern people love him, Egyptians specifically.
He seems like a friendly
Oh,
guy. He's a
yeah.
very kind guy.
Yeah, but I
open.
don't know what it is about it that specifically speaks to. I mean, his girlfriend's Egyptian, for
It's
Christ's sake. Like, it's something
Sort of.
to. Sort of.
Well, kind of a mix.
Right, but Middle Eastern.
What's
Yeah.
the other?
There's Lebanese in there,
So
Armenian.
sorry to hear that, Lebanese. Oh my god.
But culturally Egyptian
Right.
Yeah.
And so
and
you've liked shishas always.
Yeah, I mean, I was never aficionado
Obsessed.
like Amer, but yeah, I always had one. Not always the best quality one, but I have a pretty decent one now, although it broke recently.
Oh, not that one. That one.
No.
I remember that one. That's the Chinese cheap.
This is
Yeah,
more
don't.
decorative one. That's Sylvie's.
What's up,
Shisha.
Jason? You're handling charcoal. Everything is okay.
I just wanted to move it around like I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, don't do that.
I just wanted to do that. I literally budgeted by half an inch. I didn't do anything. It just looked like I was doing something, and it was so I acted like.
If it's too heavy, just take off one charcoal, and then or put it at an angle on it to have less heat
I'm
transfer.
perfectly fine. What is the deal with shisha anyway? Is it just a pastime? What is?
I think it's super social. Like
Yeah.
you can.
It's the ancestor of the podcast. Is that what it is?
It's exactly where you complain about your wives,
Mhm.
and you complain about the government. Yeah, because you can't drink, right, in most Middle Eastern countries. So you just sit. And
yeah, I guess you complain with. Then that one guy comes in that can read. He reads the newspaper to everybody in the cafe. It's still on those British like the library, those sticks, hung upside down.
Oh yeah.
Remember how they used to do that?
I think I've seen it in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's still very Indiana Jones over there.
Those
Except,
guys that like button it into their shirt and just like
oh yeah,
they do that.
Wait, I have seen. I think now it's super popular in the States. So there's like equipment, paraphernalia you can buy, and I think there's some that you could just hook
Like
up.
hands free.
yeah. It's like the Arabs do it. Like there's the Muslim hands-free headset for women where they just they put the phone inside of the hijab, like they just squeeze it in there. And they're walking around with bags with 5 kids and the Samsung
Consumerism.
phone.
Mm.
How to combine Islam and consumerism.
Isn't that interesting? Super conservative religion, but materialistic as fuck. Like they are not opposed to technology and material wealth.
Well, when you don't have anything to do, you consume,
Mhm.
right? You have nothing to do. I used to have that image of all the Arabs. I was racist toward my own people for the longest time. And then I met cool Arabs like Wasim.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my
yeah,
God,
Munzer.
this guy is amazing. And he's one of the few that, and Dana, they changed my view of Arabs. Like, oh, there's cool Arabs in this world? Oh yeah, I did not. I still don't have a good image about most of my people.
As the immigrants or because the immigrants is there's an immigrant effect I find.
Well, here's my experience with immigrants. So I arrived here in '94 at the end of the Civil War, and I was lucky. Like my parents didn't really raise me racist towards Christians or Jews or anything like that. And I went to Bois de Boulogne, which is a very Arabic CEGEP.
Yes,
And there was still some
tensions
between the Muslims and the Christians. And I'm not very Muslimy, but you could still feel the tension. Like the kids, they absorbed the hatred toward others from their parents, and they kept it as kids, and they were raised here.
But it's all theoretical.
Of course,
Like it's based on nothing.
It's based. They live here. They live in Ville Saint Laurent. Like why?
Mm.
Yeah, this explains
Yeah.
a lot of the very rare instance of like the separatists, very, very, very extremely devoted separatist person in their 20s, where like there's no way that you are in any way connected to the struggle apart
Of
from
course not.
your parents who probably marched and are super pissed still, and you had to hear that all day, every day
Yeah.
about how those people ruined it for everybody.
I mean, at least the old Arabs. Like I'm writing now a new jokes where I talk about like I hope slightly racist, amazing people go to heaven because my grandma was an amazing person. She just hated the Jews. I really hope, like she does. Like I hope you know,
that's not a deal breaker.
I really do hope so. Like she goes up there and she's like, yeah, fuck the Jews. And there's a Jewish grandma who also happened to be amazing, but she hates the Arabs. And they meet and they're like, really, you're here? You too?
Yeah, you too.
What's happening to this place? Like, I really hope so. Like it's understandable an old generation to be racist.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
because
they lived the fucking war.
But
like,
the idea of not hating or that's somehow insensitive or whatever was not really a concept, right? We were fully, all of us, accepting of misogyny, of sexism, misogyny, of racism. I mean, we're not talking now about like North American treatment of, let's say, slaves. We're talking like just in between the free people.
yeah.
It was perfectly, and in Europe you see it all the time. In Europe you see it. In Asia it's ridiculous.
I'm trying to think if there was any like misogyny because my dad was here for a good portion of my childhood,
Yeah.
and I was raised by my mom and my grandma, so I never view women as inferior, but I always enjoyed misogynistic jokes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, they're
but I never view women as someone inferior.
but you like them ironically, right?
Yeah, I think it's funny. It's funny. Same thing for Juju. That's funny.
I feel like if you can laugh at it, then you can't possibly endorse it. I feel like in some cases, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's different kinds of laughs, right?
Yeah.
If like someone's like,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you got to give her one in the back of the head, you know, let her know what time it is. And then if the guy's like, you're like, okay, that guy's bad.
Yeah, I'm
that's
not,
a
I'm
bad
gonna
person.
stop talking. Yeah.
But if the other guy's like cracking up, it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's so wrong. That's a different laugh. You're having a different kind
It's
of a good
funny
time.
because it's wrong.
You're correct.
Exactly. And theoretically, if we're all equal, shouldn't you be able to joke about everybody?
Yeah.
If we're all equal, like you're like, oh, you can't joke about that because why?
There was
Are you assuming they're lower than us and can't take a joke? That's stupid.
And then the ladies get together. They're making their jokes against the
Of
guys.
course.
Of course.
Have you been to any comedy show lately?
Yeah, of
It's
course.
just shitting on man.
It's
I'm like,
open
oh,
season on.
It's
on,
open. It's
as it would. As
Yeah.
it should be.
who cares?
Plus I think pretty much the 80s, which was in my opinion from 1979 to 1994. That's when the 80s were in my mind. That's when that ended. The sum of, I think, like 58% of comedy films were bad villains getting bitten in the balls or hit in the balls or kicked in the balls, shot in the balls, dog jumps on the balls. Like,
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
so, you know, it's all good.
Yeah, and now the typical
Balls are pretty funny though.
balls are always funny.
Bowls.
They are funny.
They're ridiculous.
They're kind of ridiculous.
I'm gonna say something sexist, but balls are funnier than vaginas.
They are.
They are.
Because we can see them. They're kind of out there.
They're super sensitive and they're right there.
Yeah, but also they're kind of in the way.
And they droop when you grow older. I don't know
Yeah.
how old you are. You just start. Ugh.
Mine just get firmer with every. That's really weird. I have
You
a con-
Botox
I have this
your
weird.
balls?
I have this weird condition.
That's the secret.
But speaking of racism, there was a comic. I forget who it was, but he said something like how he had a racist grandfather or dad or something like that, and it's like he's so racist. Then when he would crack a racist joke around his dad reaction was like, "That's what I've been saying for years." He's looking for everyone to go, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't say that. That's not right." His dad's like, "Damn right. Preach, brother." You're like,
but
"No,
I have a
dad,
question.
dad, relax."
But is that really racism? Because I'm also thinking about this when I talk about my grandma, like the joke I'm writing about the fact that, okay, so my grandma hated Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. But she never threw a stone at a Jew. She never pulled a gun on a Jew. I mean, she survived a country that was occupied by Israel.
Right.
She never disrespected a Jew to his face. But still, she like
But they were
Is it
they were
still-
the face of, they were the other.
they were the way I see it is that, you know, like she didn't read much and there was no TV. So like you need somebody to hate, like, you know, like the
Yeah.
Slytherins, the
But
Decepticons.
you have
She had the Jews. That's all she had.
But she had a little bit more incentive than somebody just like you know.
Yeah, she survived the Civil War, like and a war. Like you can't.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Like my grandmother.
She
fucking
fed all my
hated-
Jewish friends. Like you can't really, like
Yeah.
eat this, you Jew. Like, but she still fed him. You know.
I
My-
think the definition of racism is really if you're going to. I think it has to be action, right? Like you have to
truly believe so,
you have to
yeah.
discriminate
Yeah.
against somebody based on their, ethnicity, as opposed to like holding your beliefs that like, oh, watch yourself around those
Yeah.
people. Like,
Yeah.
Like my grandma had the same thing. Like sweetest lady you'd ever meet, but like she was like, you be careful.
Who were his
you have an issue
Decepticons?
Black people.
Black people.
Oh, yeah?
Well, that's
Well,
understandable.
I mean, I only heard it once.
I'm kidding.
But she was like, "Oh, watch yourself around them."
Okay, so it was like almost it was almost adorable.
It was like, "What, Grandma?"
They're like, that's horrific, but you're still so cute somehow and
Yeah.
adorable.
Well, we're
and-
all products of our time, you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
My grandmother didn't hate, but she didn't like Russians, obviously, because they occupied fucking all of Europe, most of Europe, for a very long time, and that meant Russian soldiers all the time, and you had to learn Russian in school and all this other bullshit. So that was understandable, but it was always about like concepts rather than flat out like ethnic hatred.
Yeah.
Like if you give us a chance, I would kill every single one. Like there was none of that.
I think if you don't act, it's just like something to talk about while you're having coffee. Like those blacks, or those Jews, or those. It's just something to talk about while you're having your morning coffee.
Racist people.
I hope
are,
our racist grandmas are all in heaven right now. That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like
I hope so,
atheism
too.
solves that whole problem. If they're all equally not there, that's also fine. If there's nothing, but I realize it's excessively rare to meet an actual racist person.
I don't think I ever met one.
They're excessively rare, like full on, where they get that crazy look in their eye and of like certainty of like, well, you see, the Jew. The thing about the Jew is blah 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 blah, and they look in your eyes like they're explaining quantum physics to you, and like that's how committed they are to that racist view. That's excessively rare.
Have you ever been like victim of because you're browner than both of us? Like,
Yes.
have you ever been a victim of racism?
Yeah, but like
Really?
not in any crazy way. I mean, I'm sure I've been passed up for jobs, but who hasn't? But not in any significant way. If anything, in Quebec, I'd say my otherness has been more of a cause to have people fascinated in me than others, which can be just as annoying. But I'll certainly take that over like get the fuck out of here, Packy, or whatever. In high school, I ate some shit because
Really?
I went to very white schools. And even when there were Arabs or whatever, I didn't identify with them culturally. So they everyone thought I was Latino all the time as well. Even
Did you play the Latino card? You're like, who were you in high school?
What do you mean?
Like nobody's themselves in high school. Everybody is trying to emulate.
I was kind of like a rocker kid.
Mm.
So I hung around with I love fucking white people. I'm half white, but I've always hung around with white people. I knew the black kids, I knew the Hispanic kids, I knew the Asian kids, and was terrified of them like everyone else. Because Asian kids just always scared the shit out of everybody because you could never tell what they were thinking. It's true. Culturally, they're just not the same as anyone in North America. So a completely normal, minding his own business kind of Asian kid, if enough rumors
focus on school, that weirdo getting A's.
No, but if you
Get
like,
him!
you don't know if there's
Yeah.
like 5 of them and they dress kind of hip. You're like, I think that's a gang. I don't know. Do they make machine guns? I don't know. I don't.
They do
Do they
math.
know
That's all they
karate?
You find out they're like a b-boy group and they like they just like to dance, but they're inscrutable. I would definitely say that. And that's kind of racist. And I'm fine with that. I think a little racism goes a long way, but it's not hatred based.
What about you, Richard? Who were you in high school?
I don't know how to answer that question. I was a bit of an outsider, kind of a loner. I actually lived like 1 block away from high school, so I could just go home for lunch and like skip school, and people would come to my house and play Nintendo in the basement.
Did you smoke weed in high school?
I didn't.
Oh,
No, I was a pretty straight kid.
Me too.
But I went to a predominantly Jewish school, and so I was a bit of the outsider of being not that.
Did you try to fit in? Did you try to like
No,
out-Jew the Jew?
no, I didn't participate at all.
I can't imagine you doing that. You were never that guy.
I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
How do you? They didn't act in
Diverse your portfolio? I don't know.
No, that's not a
Update your
culture you
LinkedIn
can kind of
profile.
pretend to be. you can even be Jewish and be like, wait, what kind of Jewish? And then
Yeah. Even
same thing for
They
Arab.
didn't act in any particular way.
which high school did you go to?
Lindsay Place.
Okay, I don't know.
Well,
That's
they'd
in the
obviously be
West
cultural.
Island.
They'd be cultural values, right? Like
I only learned that everybody was Jewish like halfway through high school. They were all just like rich kind of DDO kids, which was more that. It was more like a
Little prissy.
Everybody was kind of well off and
Trust fund
dressed well
babies.
and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And
You were the chain
wasn't
wallet
that.
kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Was your school predominantly something, or was it?
Well, I went to a bunch, but
We went to high school. We went to Côte Saint-Luc together. It's true. I remember that now.
together?
Not together, but I also
we
went to
we
Côte
both.
Saint-Luc. Yeah.
I forgot about that. If I have to think of any, the most racist thing I remember that ever happened was when I contracted. I think that's the right word. Meningitis.
That's the right word.
And I was like the second case in Montreal. Or
And you
something.
dropped the N-word. And you blamed the fever. Is that it?
Exactly. I was like, these no. So I survived it. It was a crazy story. One I've told many times. But one thing I don't tend to end the story with is my return to school, where I was like stick thin and very weak, and it took a long time for me to sort of get my health weight back and all that. And one of the first things that happened to me is I walked into school, and this kid named Ouellet. That's all I remember is his last name was Ouellet, because everyone called each other by their last names.
Was he Turkish?
No. No, this is a Ouellet, like a...
Oh, Ouellet.
Quebec
Okay.
This was in private school at Notre Dame. And he literally came up to me and delivered this, like, rehearsed line that could only have heard from his father or some shit. And he's like, c'est bien ça, hein? Vous immigrez, est-ce que vous amenez vos maladies ici? Or something like that. I never forgot it. And I never even saw his face, just to translate. He basically said to me, that's right, you immigrants bringing your fucking diseases here, or something like that.
You should have coughed in his mouth.
I should have, but I was so young.
Yeah.
I'm like secondary 2 at this point. And I seem to recall somebody like grabbing him by the neck and dragging him off like a hall monitor or somebody, like, all right, asshole, like you're with me, and then kind of dragging him and like sticking him into detention. But as far as that's concerned, heck, I've never had anybody really, I've never really lived it. But I'm a good communicator.
Yeah.
I pick up accents. I know cultural subtleties.
You fit in perfectly.
I'm a chameleon in that sense.
But I think most
if I had been like,
immigrants,
hello, my name is... Or I'd have like a Hungarian accent. No, hi. Would you like to see... Let's go to the parking lot. If I started talking like fucking Bela Lugosi, maybe I would have eaten a little bit more shit.
Would you like cheese? I have cheese.
Yeah, cheese. Transylvanian cheese.
Actually, I just remembered one racist moment that I witnessed. It was in 2006. So in 2006, at the end of my bachelor, I don't know if I told you guys, I went with my best friend Guillaume. We finished we both studied engineering together, and we did like a few countries. We did London for a day by mistake. Then we went to Morocco. Then we went to Egypt. Then we went to Lebanon. And Lebanon in 2006, in case you guys don't remember, there was a tiny war that happened.
Tiny little war.
Tiny little war. The Hezbollah kidnapped 2 or 3 soldiers, Israeli soldiers. And Israel's like, bitch,
pretext.
You're gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
So we were in Lebanon, and the war began, and the airport got destroyed, and there was and there was no way to leave the country. And I was with my very, very white friend in Lebanon, with his mom freaking out here in Canada. And we're like, all right, well,
you're like trapped in Lebanon.
Yeah, we had to leave either through at the beginning. We're like, there was no way to leave. Like the consulate didn't do anything. Like, are we gonna leave through a hidden truck, like in a hidden truck through Syria,
like Mexicans,
like Mexicans? And we're like, okay,
illegal
we'll
Mexicans. Sorry.
Thank you. Like who are coming now to Montreal?
Exactly, 150 at a time.
That's crazy. Saying it. At least we're using the Stade Olympique.
That's what I said. I was like, finally, that piece of shit is good for something.
They might repair it for cheap. Who knows? Like in 6 months, like, oh my god, they fixed it.
They're growing strawberries there. Yeah. What?
There's a taco stand over there.
Dude, that would be the absolute in this like bizarre world that we live in right now. Them turning it into like a weird like immigrant like District 9 city would be fucking amazing.
They grow their own bio fruit, and you see like all the hipster white people like, oh my god, so I went to Stade Olympique.
Yeah.
And I bought some zucchini. It's bio. My friend
some kale
Juan.
chips.
Yeah. Some kales, yes, my friend Juan.
The aid workers show up, and the immigrants just stop them at the gates. They're like, we're good.
We're good.
You guys can go.
I don't know how to do a Mexican accent. I should practice that.
Yeah.
I went, we're good. I'm like, that's not Mexican at all.
Not even
close.
No.
So anyways, 2006, there's no more airport.
You're trapped.
I'm stuck in Lebanon. Back then, I used to date a Lebanese girl, and her father was, I think, so you know, in Lebanon you have a president, and then you have a prime minister,
yeah,
and then you have like another guy, and then he was number 4. So he was the fourth most important man in the country. Like when we got picked up and we went to his place and I was in the car with him, there was too much traffic on the road and he just called somebody and there was no more traffic anymore. That's how powerful he was.
The cars just moved.
I guess they blocked the parallel street and they just we had an empty. I'm like, holy shit, this man is. We were walking in a stealth car. It was crazy. Like I was living the life as if like Blood Diamond King, just banging his daughter.
Uday Hussein.
I was dating Uday Hussein for a couple of months.
How the fuck do you meet a chick? How do you pick up a chick like that? That's what I want to know.
Well, she was studying here. I don't want to say her name. Maybe she listens.
No, that's fine. But you, okay.
She was studying here, and I'll explain to you afterwards how we met. But she was studying engineering with me, and I had to have her. She was beautiful. And so anyway, so I was in Lebanon.
That's how when I see someone too beautiful, I have to have them.
Yeah. Hey, I was 21. I still had.
I'm kidding. I don't do that.
No,
that sounds like some
barbarian
shit.
I had beautiful long hair, and I was skinny and sexy back then, and I had hope. And
you're still skinny.
Glitter, not glitter, but that light in my eye that has hope, and like, he's gonna succeed and make money in the future.
You had
I had exactly
promise.
Potential.
Exactly. I had potential,
plans, goals.
Thank you.
Okay, so. You're riding in the motorcade.
I'm riding motorcade. So we're staying in their summer house somewhere up north in Tripoli in Lebanon. So we weren't really witnessing what was happening in Beirut because we were staying there. We could just see the Israeli boats because they were staying like in a beach club because they were fucking loaded. So we were saying they could just see from far the American boats and the Israeli boats, just like the military boats. And then we find out that the Canadian and the American embassy are taking all the Canadians and the Americans by boat to Cyprus. So we had to be evacuated with the Canadian consulate. So now in order to be evacuated by the Canadian consulate, you had to wait in line for like 24 hours next to the Beirut pier.
Yeah, it's like U2 tickets type of thing.
It was crazy because you had families waiting for 24 hours.
Kids screaming
to get on the boat and leaving. Now, since I was dating the daughter of
they cleared the way
General
again.
number 4 when our turn came, because she was also Canadian, when our turn came, I didn't wait in line at all. I went in a bulletproof Jeep with a bulletproof Jeep in front of me and a bulletproof Jeep behind me, and we just drove past all those struggling families.
Oh my goodness.
And the sweaty moms holding her 2 kids.
You're like in air conditioning.
And I'm in air conditioning, and then we pass next to the soldier. We don't even open the full window. He just opens the window a little bit, goes, military car. And he doesn't even wait for the guy to answer. He just closes the window and he passes. I was like, I feel like shit, but goddamn, I love this. I love being an asshole. This is so good.
How were you sitting on this story? This is the craziest fucking story ever. You were just sitting on this one? This didn't even come out last time? This is amazing. And horrible, but amazing.
But honestly, I get now corruption, because when you're on the side where you get everything, it's the best.
Imagine you make a phone call and the road clears.
Yeah. The road clears, literally.
The city stops moving because you need to get somewhere. Yeah, I can see
ultimate power.
Her dad got her a convertible BMW for the summer. That's how loaded they were. He got his son an M5 on his 17th birthday.
Wow.
An M fucking
You're so Arabic right now.
Yeah.
The admiration in your eyes. You're fully like your jeans are all like on fire right now.
I don't come from money. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I left Lebanon. But when you're on the side of like just the receiving end, you're like, this is amazing. So anyway, so we didn't wait in line. We get on the boat. We go to Cyprus. Now in Cyprus, we had to wait in line to get on the plane to go to Montreal. And this is where I saw the racism. So we're like, there's a lot of people waiting, and Arabs don't wait in line. You know, like they don't. It's not a. No, we all go to the entrance and we all scream at each other to go in. There's no order and like you do the zigzag thing.
None of that.
None of that shit. So everybody's trying to get on, and I heard that. So there was like Muslims with hijabs, and there were Christians. I'm assuming they're Christians, or Sunnis or Shias. I don't remember, but
Zoroastrians, whatever.
Probably. And then I hear. Anyway, so a Muslim family like with the whole hijab thing are trying to get in, and then I hear a woman saying, "Look at those fucking Shias. They ruined the country, and now they're trying to get on the plane, before us." And she screamed that. And then you hear somebody go, "Yeah!" And you're like, "Oh."
There's always some asshole.
This is the only time where I witnessed little racism. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna. There's a mob of people. Shit can go down. I just witnessed it. I'm like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
when you're dealing with societies that are still anchored very deeply in very old sectarian, tribal,
Yeah.
one would say, Bronze Age religious stuff and just old hates. No movement either, right? Like
They have nothing else to do.
no one's come through there. Like here, it's like people have been here, 300 years,
Yeah.
350, 375, 400, whatever. But they didn't really formalize as a people. Maybe a century ago, it started becoming like getting into its own vibe as actual like the way it is now, right? It hasn't existed the way it exists for the last 2,000 years,
Right.
with the same fucking argument still happening.
And it's not a homogenous
Yeah,
society
it's
either,
immigrants.
right? Yeah, it's always been a mix. At
Yeah.
least here.
And we don't have time to be racist.
too
in
fucking
Canada.
cold.
It's too cold, and we have jobs.
I
if you have a job, you don't have time to hate. You got to
It's
go to
very
work. You got to
time-consuming.
pay your
Like
mortgage.
you really want to, but you're busy.
exactly.
Like I wish I had more time.
To be racist.
To-
You
be
hate the
intolerant.
Slytherins or whatever the fuck they're called in Harry Potter. You don't have time to hate the Maronites. You know what I mean?
Oh, that sounded religious.
Yeah. Maronites are a specific type of Christians in Lebanon, and that's why I remember they used to have a
They
specific
sound
cross.
terrible.
This is a perfect conversation.
I just
man.
learned about them, but they sound terrible.
The joke about it is that Maronite girls were all whores. This is the line that everybody said.
There's a line like that about every nation in every country in the world. You're like, you know what they say about, and I think what's really behind it is that's what guys would really like it to be,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Right? It's not really like to shit on them. It's like, hey, I heard Polish girls. Hey, I heard Lithuanian. Hey, I heard Japanese.
They're just trying to find girls.
They're just like, we want to find whores.
Yes.
Can we just find whores?
But not even
What's the
whores. Just
secret?
let me just grab a titty. They just
Just one.
Someone to accept me.
Exactly.
Anyone.
Yeah, I'm a little scared and nervous about the whole mating ritual thing, so I'm just gonna treat him like shit. That's my approach.
I've seen it 3 times in a blurry VHS in the basement of my friend Ahmed.
That's right.
And that's the only thing I know about sex. I'm just going to end up marrying whoever my dad or my mom buys. So this is all I have.
Or buys them.
Yeah, buys them.
It's a beautiful thing.
But it's funny. My brain state right now is remembering that whole boat trip.
The road to Cyprus.
Guillaume got to leave before me. Now, the
Your white friend.
The white friend. He got to leave before me. His mom freaked out.
Typical.
She called Stéphane Dion. Remember, guys, Stéphane Dion?
Yeah.
He was she lived in Ville Saint Laurent. He was like the what do you call it?
Municipal.
Yeah, exactly.
whatever.
So he wasn't prime minister or he wasn't even in the running, but he was like the representative of the city. So she called him like 50 times. She was freaking out. Her son was in a war. You remember, like what you see on the news is what she was seeing. So she was thinking
sure.
that her son is crawling, eating
He's
like
dodging fucking
dodging
missiles.
bullets.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the image she had in her mind. So anyway, so he got to leave first, and the first boats that got to leave Lebanon weren't big boats, weren't like yachts. They were fishermen boats, literally smallish boats. And Guillaume got to leave on that boat, and he was telling me that the boat that picked him up, I think it was a Turkish boat, and it was not a big boat, but there was still like a bar. And he told me like everybody got on the boat, and there was like a bar, so they started drinking, but it wasn't a big boat, so you could literally feel the waves. And then everybody started
Puke
getting
fest.
I mean, he's a lifeguard, so he was helping everybody like vomit,
Holding their
and
heads over the
whole-
side of the
holding-
boat.
And he took a picture. He had like salt in his face because it's a small boat, so the wind and the mountain of luggage behind him, and just people vomiting from the side of the boat. He's like, "This is my life. This is my trip." Fucking Amer, you had to take me to Lebanon.
That's the best trip ever.
That's the only selfie he ever took in his life, by the way.
I would
that
hate
boat.
you
That's
initially,
hilarious.
but love you forever for living something like that. Also, I'm picturing like the guards in Cyprus welcoming the boat and be like, "You those poor people! Look what they've went through. Look at them. They're all sick. Things must be really bad over there, right?"
And
Little did they know.
complaining. He was some. Oh, we complain a lot. Arabs, we complain all the time. So they were like complaining, and my friend's like, "Motherfuckers, you're going back to a country of safety." And why did you who drinks on a fisherman's boat?
Yeah.
I love him. Hey, he didn't end up racist, which I'm happy. He ended up
Oh,
marrying
that's
and half an Arab, so I'm very proud of him.
Mhm.
Did you got out by boat as well?
Yeah. So I left in a bigger boat.
Bulletproof boat.
No, it wasn't. It was a
Like a cruise liner?
Cruise liner, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
Like a pleasure boat.
yeah, it was a huge cruise. I got to have sex on a boat. That was great. Little hublot. I get to see the...
Like a James Bond situation.
Well, yeah, kinda. Yeah, it's good.
Hmm.
True. Having sex with the daughter of like a major general on a boat. That is kind of...
He's listening to the podcast, right? Right. Like he's gonna be listening to this podcast, be like, I was gonna let that guy off the hook.
Yeah.
This far, no further.
Dude, listen to that story.
That was the last straw.
In Lebanon, you have to do military service, okay? So even if you leave the country and you come back, you're like, hey, like they'll stop you at the airport, like you didn't do your military service. They will take you to do your military service.
And they'll drop you there off at the base.
Yeah. Like you have to do military service if you're under a certain age. Now, when I came in, I didn't have all the paperwork because I'm like, I'll fix it once I get there. So I come in and he has like one of his minions waiting for me. He takes care of all the paperwork.
This is the almost father-in-law.
Almost father-in-law. Like he sends like one of his minions to take care of me, fix all the paper. And like 3 weeks later, I get handed a piece of paper and I look and it's my carte d'identité, like identity card with my thumb, what do you call it? My
Thumbprint?
thumbprint. But I never put my thumb anywhere. I'm like, whose thumb is that?
Did you check if it was yours?
It could not have been mine. I did not do like the thumb thing nowhere.
They
I
got you while you were sleeping, man.
No, I
Or
think
the
it was
guy-
somebody else. Like, here's $50. Here's his
Yeah.
finger. It's okay. Yalla, let's go. I swear to God.
Okay, probably the guy doing the passport put his own
Yeah,
thumb
exactly.
there, and he does it all the time.
Okay, here's $50. Just let him pass. I'm like, what's going on? I have.
It looks fine.
So now in Lebanon, if the guy decides to murder somebody, okay, and they found his thumbprint, it's gonna be my thumbprint because this is the thumbprint associated with my identity.
Or
card.
you could murder some people, and then you could just
Be like,
it's
that's-
not
Good.
It's not my thumb.
They screwed
I'm
it
never
up.
going back to Lebanon. That's.
There's no reason.
I'm too scared to come back because the breakup wasn't like well. So I have a feeling that if
How
there's-
long ago was this?
Oh yeah.
well, 2006. I guess we broke up in 2007 or something.
What'd
so,
you do?
Oh.
How'd you fuck that up?
Just you're young.
You had it
you're
all.
Dumb. No. She was.
Motorcades.
Yeah. No.
It's true. She could just disappear you overnight.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
What's one day? Amer's gone.
I'm so glad we have these shishas. We kind of we have a different attitude with these things on.
It's true.
We're talking with a liberty and a lack of urgency that not usually doesn't. I can't look at you while you're drawing on your shisha. I can't do that.
It's a bit
it's
a phallic
uncomfortable.
thing in his mouth. You do
Yeah.
great smoke rings, if I may, Richard.
Thank you.
Give you a
Thanks.
impressive.
I can't do it. I don't even see the point.
Jason
Alright.
tried to do a smoke ring.
I'm
and it
not
was
five.
just-
Sour grapes.
An Egyptian 5-year-old.
He just like to shit on everything I do. It's fine.
Would you like to buy some
Jason.
Kleenex?
That's
Would you like to buy some Kleenex?
Suck on your dildo.
suck on
Your butt plug.
your mauve dildo.
I should give some context to the listeners. My shisha tube looks like the other shisha tubes, but is that peculiar, shall we say, pinkish, purplish color that for some reason I've seen or associate to.
That's mauve. How
Mauve?
is that pink? You heterosexual man.
There's a pinkish.
There's no-
pinkish. Yeah, there's definitely a
Richard,
pinkish
do you
quality.
see any pinkish in there?
No,
I see a little pink.
It's a little purple.
That's purple.
You
Or
guys
mauve.
are distracting me from the story. It does look like it goes in someone's butt, and just by the color, the shape of it, not so much, but the color.
Have you ever seen a real butt plug?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I saw once. My friend got a friend of mine once a gift of butt plug, but it was black.
But I understood there is such a thing. I don't want to get on this topic.
We're going there.
I thought they
We're
were all
already there.
different. Ooh. Like Richard and his smoke
smoking,
circle
yeah.
wizardry.
That's right. Who are you?
Talk about shisha, guys. How's everybody's circle? Do we need to?
I wouldn't know, but I think I'm okay.
Richard, how's yours?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been thinking a lot about my childhood, and I'm noticing that not everybody survived a civil war in poverty,
True, that's not a common story.
running from bombs, hiding in bomb shelters. Like, it's starting to grow on me, you know. Like when once you start dealing with humans and not with numbers for a living. You're
But
like,
is that really how you grew up? I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky. Like my mom she was a strong woman, and with my grandma as well, so they protected me a lot. But I saw it.
You were in the shit.
Yeah, it was shit. We had to, I guess, I don't know how many times a week run and go hide in a bomb shelter because the bombs were falling. It was, but I never. You're not scared when you know what I mean. Like you're like, all right.
Well, I mean, what you're
You're
saying.
more worried as a child, like, oh, what will my friends think of my shirt that I wore 2 days in a row? You're not thinking of like the bombs
you're
falling.
you're still concerned with sort of childish things.
Exactly what others think of you. You're not-
Self-image.
yeah, exactly, much more than
Because it's your everyday.
yeah.
So you're not interpreting it as like, this is really fucked up. There's bombs falling. You're like, no, this is something that everyone does around me. And then you leave it. What age did you get out? 90.
94, we came to Canada. That means I was maybe 10 or 11. Yeah.
Okay. That's a crazy age to travel, to change your environment at.
Again, I don't know. I don't know.
Because you're not young enough to kind of be able to sort of sweep it under the rug. You're remembering now as of I'd say 7, 8. You're starting to make memories now that are if shit happens to you, you remember it at that point.
It's weird to say, but I didn't develop that sense of observing oneself until I started doing comedy, where you have to sit and think about stuff and form your point of view.
You just kind of forged ahead.
You just do it. You just. That's why maybe I don't. When I see somebody who's weak, I'm like, wake the fuck up! Like, just move. Stop thinking. Just move forward in life. Just stop.
Stop obsessing over why you're not moving ahead.
Exactly. Just move ahead. And when you're 30, you have an identity crisis. Start comedy and then start thinking about your past. But
I'm working on a joke about that.
Yeah?
About the whole don't trust anyone over 30 in that expression. It's a very commonly held expression in English. Don't trust people over 30. They say that to teenagers and to 20-year-olds, right?
Why?
Well, I guess it's based on originally like sort of don't trust anyone over 30 as in like stay young and rebellious. Right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But
I have a version of that joke. But
right. So my assessment of that is actually it's not that you can't trust 30 people that are over 30. It's that just it's a really bad time to talk to them because they just found out nothing is true. They just found out.
Adulthood is a lie and a sham.
Yeah, come back later.
Yeah.
They're good people. People over 30. This is just a really bad time right now. They just found out a bunch of things, including their career's not going to take off.
Balding.
They went to school for nothing. Their hair's falling out.
Penis not as hard as it used to be.
They have injuries now.
Mantids. Yeah.
There's a bunch of things going on. Come back later, and it's obviously gonna be funnier when I do it on stage. But the point is that
We'll see.
It must have been fucked up, like war-torn Lebanon. You'll be the judge of that. Is that what you're gonna say, Richard?
Yeah.
My version of that joke is that
Yeah.
I don't trust the condoms of a 30-year-old woman who's single. This is
That's a way funnier. Joke.
I have it's okay.
Stop laughing.
About a month ago.
Stop laughing.
It's true. Oh!
You're my manager.
I just
Jealous.
got it. So about a month ago,
Yes.
I did my first French show. I did.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
They wanted to try that.
It wasn't even by choice. It was I arrived there. Okay, well, I'll start from the beginning. So
It's a good place to start. Yeah.
about 2 months ago, I was going to Ottawa to do a show there. And when I go to Ottawa, I pick up people. I don't pick up people, but like I do the Amigo
Ride
Express.
sharing.
Ride share, exactly. So I have like 3 people get in my car. They pay for gas. So at least it helps me offset the cost of the travel. So I get like 2 kids. They sit in the back. And then like an old lady, maybe in her 50s, she sits next to me. And of course I talk. That's my job. So we're talking. We're laughing. I'm making her laugh. She's like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a comedian. I'm going to do a show. She's like, oh, awesome. I'm like, what do you do? She's like, oh, I run my own theater. I have like a cabaret, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So we're talking and we're laughing. She's like, you know what? Come do, I have a cabaret happening in a couple of months. Come make, the audience laugh. I'm like, hey, of course, no problem. She's like, I do it in English. She's like, yeah, don't worry. You'll do your part in English and we'll do the theater things in French. Don't worry about it. So I'm like, perfect. So I show up to the place. I look at the audience the first night. It was a Thursday. Nobody speaks English. Like, I'm listening to everybody
Not
talking.
a single person.
Not a single person.
This is in Ottawa?
No, it was in Montreal.
Okay.
So I get to the place and I'm about to go on stage and I found out that everybody is French. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to have to do my material in French.
At a moment's notice, you just flip the language.
That's a mindfuck.
I kind of expected it when I was home. I'm like, maybe. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do it once in French in front of my mirror, in my boxer, just once. Just so like, all right, I know how to say certain words. So I get on stage, I start doing in French, and it worked. People laughed. It was great. Like, okay, all right.
Nice.
The next day, again, I'm like, you know what? I have more confidence now, and I fucking killed the next day. It was great. I was so happy. And then the third day, I do it Saturday, also a very good show. At the end of the show, we all, like the theater people are amazing. I don't know if you ever
They're in for anything.
They love to fucking drink. They love to party. And I don't find that like with comedians.
No.
There's more
drama
somber,
people
you know?
are crazy, but in the nicest way.
It's a different craft. So they absorb the moment and they live it. Like, okay, I'm going to be... this moment requires me to be this character. So they just metamorphose into the best thing they can be in that time.
They're amazing.
They're amazing. So we go to a bar, a weird, crappy taverna. I don't know if you ever...
Oh, yeah. It's nice. It's close to my house.
Yeah.
They filmed 1992 there.
That makes sense. We go in and it's like only people, middle-age... 40-year-old. 40-year-olds middle-age, right?
Yeah.
They're just...
Thanks.
And it's a bar filled with like 40-year-olds trying to, relive their youth.
Still be...
Like freshly single 40-year-old mom rubbing herself on my, arm hair. I'm like,
This is really... There's two things happening right now as you're explaining this. First, I'm a little offended because I'm a single dad pushing 40. Number two, I'm going to Taverna later
to pick up the ladies.
Woo!
Are you really?
That's where they were hiding. Sweet. No, you just clued me in. That's why I need to go. Okay. Yeah. Sweet.
I see the place. I have to go in. I'm sure I'll find material in there. As I said, like a lady with like a 40. There's something about a 45-year-old woman cleavage that is still hot. I don't know what it is.
45 is not that old, bro.
Let's say 50. Let's
How
go
old
with
are you
50.
now?
I'm 33.
Oh, that's why you're talking shit. Wait till you hit 4. There's nothing wrong.
I'm not saying it's sexy. For me, it's still sexy.
It's great.
It's like, oh my God, an older woman wants me.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. Fuck yeah, I'll have a shot from... I don't care. I'll look at pictures of your dog or your cats. And
I'll take one of those ladies over like a shy 25-year-old girl with an attitude, knuckle tattoos. Fuck that shit.
I'm at the age where I get to flirt or go on dates with both pools. I can jump in both pools, and I have a story for each pool. So, but let's go back to Taverna. So we're in Taverna. We're dancing. At the beginning, I was like, I'm not going to dance. But there's only old people dancing. And like 2 shots later, I'm a dance floor going, Despacito. And then
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
You're 33. That's not that much younger than those people. That's like a 5-year difference.
No, man. That's... okay, maybe they were in their 50s then. Cause they were old.
Okay.
Like they were...
Okay. They had,
like they had old woman jewelry.
Okay,
like
that's
a
not
necklace
40s.
instead of a choker. Like they had a necklace like with a pendant.
No, that's 50s and 60s, bro.
Let's say like old 40s, young 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Puffed up hair?
A couple of puffed up hair. Like
brooches?
Did I see a brooch?
That's an old age home.
I don't think I saw a brooch, but I did see like a guy in a wheelchair, like an old man in a wheelchair.
Not like a guy who's hurt or handicapped.
No, he's just old.
He can't walk anymore.
He can't walk anymore.
Okay. These people were significantly older than I think you realize.
Yeah. So, wait. Don't drop the charcoal. Don't drop the charcoal, Jason. Don't worry. Okay. So we're at the bar, we're dancing, and we go outside. One of the theater actors, she's like, "Oh, I have a joint. Do you want to take a couple of puffs?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" We're having puffs. There's this girl. She's there. We start talking. Gorgeous, like 5'11", French with that short French hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a short coupe garçon, as they call it.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. She has that French accent. I'm like, I'm like, "Hey, who are you?" She's like, "Oh, I'm a friend of her. I saw you. You're so funny on stage." I'm like, shit. You don't get that at open mics, you know? Nobody wants to fuck you after an open mic.
No groupies? No.
Anglophones don't care.
No, especially not empty open mics. They're like, they just feel sadness. You don't want to have sex with anybody who see you bomb at open mic. So anyway, so we're talking and we're laughing. And I'm like, hey, you want to go grab something to eat? And she's like, yeah, okay. So we're walking, and I walk her to her place. And it's like 4 a.m, and we get in, start making out. And I didn't have condoms. So I'm like, listen, I don't have condoms. So I'm not. And I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older. Like, I don't want to do one-night stands anymore. I want sex to be meaningful. That's my sensitive side, you guys.
Right.
But I'm like, I will definitely eat your ass. Maybe we'll.
Mine? No.
Not you.
Maybe later.
We'll see how the shisha goes.
Yeah. We don't. There's no ass eating at
fire in the hole. Fire in the hole does not. That hole is not.
Because it would put out the fire. That's the problem.
Well, did you eat Mexican? Because that would explain. Anyways, let's go back to the French girl's asshole, if you don't mind, Richard.
no, no.
We never left.
I would prefer that.
No, he
actually.
brought out licking his asshole. It's true. I should have not made eye
You
contact.
did make eye contact when you
Yeah, you
said
did.
that you were gonna eat
and
my
it,
ass.
and it was a very hot day today. Now go on. So you got this girl. You have no condoms
Sorry. Just,
because
let me just take off Richard's
because
asshole.
sex
from my
is
brain.
that's not gonna work.
So we're making out. I'm like, listen, I don't. Like, we'll make out. She was gorgeous. I had to. There was a beautiful sexual tension between us. She's like, I have condoms. And my brain was like, sure. No.
Because of the not
Because
trusting women over 30.
This is where I'm like, there's no way. You're a single 32-year-old woman. There's no way you're getting an abortion if shit hits the fan. Like, there's no way. A 22-year-old, like, I have my future. A 33-year-old, like, bitch, I'll have my baby. Like, there's...
You think that she's coming up...
For sure.
She's a seed hunter, is what you're saying?
No. I'm not saying she's a seed hunter, but I mean, if shit's hit the fan, why would she get an abortion? It's 2017. A woman can raise her child by herself.
And will.
Why would she? So I'm like, you know what? We'll skip on the sex.
How did she take it?
She never returned my text messages, so I'm assuming that was the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys...
How did you turn her down?
Yeah.
We made out.
But she pulled out the condoms, and you're like,
She's like, well, no. She's like, well, I have condoms. We were naked in bed, and it was hot and heavy. And she's like, let's baise-moi. I'm like, nah.
She was French from France?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
You missed the description. It's 5'11".
Uh-huh.
She was wearing like a summery dress, coupe garçon, like short hair.
Yeah.
Her
She's
hair.
like it's like you
She looks like a French model
she's
from
like-
the 1940s.
riding a fucking Vespa.
And I walked her with her bike. She had a bike. Like I walked her. She was imagine like a beautiful girl wearing a dress on a bicycle in Montreal in Petite Patrie. It was majestic. It was beautiful. She could have been the one if I brought my own condoms. That's
Are you serious? You really were fixated on that? You're not kidding?
Yeah. I could not. I would not.
Now, hang on a second.
No, because I want to be part of that kid's life, and I don't want to do that now.
You have overthought this, my friend. Not to mention, there's a gas
That's why I'm
station
not-
about a block away.
Not where she lived. I'm not gonna say where she lived, but there was no. Yeah, I could have.
This is
It's
my
true.
neighborhood,
It's true. There's a
motherfucker.
Petro-Canada not far.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm not
And a
comfortable
Canadian
in
Tire
Petro-Canada.
over there. No. You
Canadian
were
Tire
fine.
doesn't sell condoms, does
No,
it?
there was a gas station next to the Canadian Tire,
Yeah,
next
yeah.
to Taverna, and there was another gas station. There were like fucking 4 gas
I
stations.
could have went to the gas station. I'll give you that.
What
but
was-
again, I
what's-
don't know how.
What
I feel
really
about
held
one-
you back? She was gorgeous.
As I said, one night stands. I don't know how I feel about
But
that.
why did it
anymore.
have to be one night stand? It could have been.
I can't afford a girlfriend. Listen, I have a complex these days where I'm like, okay, all the girlfriends that I had money. So I'm like, hey, let's go to Mexico. It's on me. I was like that guy. I was like that douche. So now that I'm, a fucking struggling artist,
Now that shit got real.
now that shit got real, I'm like, I can't. I know it's wrong. I know I should not withheld love from my heart because I don't have, the. It's just I don't know how to treat women differently than to treat them extremely well and buy them stuff. And that's something I need to work on. I'll give you that, guys. This feels like therapy.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what we're
Podcast
here for.
therapy.
Tell me more about your mom, man.
Yeah.
So you want to eat Richard's ass, and
I ate her ass. I ate her French, beautiful, well-toned ass. It's funny.
It hurts me right now to hear the story.
Yeah, every man I told this to is like, what are you, a fucking idiot? They didn't call me idiot. They used the F word.
The way that tells me the story sort of suggests that you kind of still you're kicking yourself a little bit.
Let's see. I am not proud of the fact that I didn't pursue it further because we clicked mentally a lot. But a part of me is like, don't do that to her. She deserves a better man.
Okay. So fundamentally, this isn't really about her. This is about you feeling that you're not good enough.
It's always about me, doctor.
So how many condoms do you have on you right now?
I have 0 condoms, Richard. Leave your asshole out of the story, please.
He's brought everything
He learned
else.
nothing from this
He
story.
learned nothing. I think he went in there condomless because he didn't want to go. Like he was. It's a one of those struggles. That's your demon, man. That's what the demon you're fighting.
I don't know if that's. I'm like at the end of the day, I'm happy because I didn't break her heart. I wasn't a bad person, per se. I didn't feel empty afterwards because there's something extremely hot about just making out with a girl and eating her ass. But let's stick to making out.
Again with the eye contact.
She's just getting to me, guys.
He's got great eyes though.
He does.
He's got beautiful eyes.
Dreamy.
Women want it. What is the line? They want their
want
eyes
my eyes for their baby.
for their baby.
Yeah.
That's
And they think he's Shane Smith, so it's he's a billionaire with
like an
glittering
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Shane Smith.
That's what I always said. Like the difference in dating when you're in your 20s and dating in your 30s was like in my 20s. It was like, oh, you got great eyes. Let's fuck.
Yeah.
And then in the 30s, it's like, you have great eyes. I want them for my baby.
Yeah.
You know, like they just kind of like dissecting you for parts and like, I like this genetic.
So you
material.
understand me. So you agree with me that I did the right thing by not having sex with her.
Well, I mean, you're talking to two guys who are not into the one night stand.
Okay, so you get it, guys. Yeah, exactly. I can't.
Like I've never had a one night stand in my entire life.
Never ever?
No.
Oh, it's so empty. You're missing out so much.
I've had like a 3-night stand sort of thing.
Okay, that's
like
good.
third date sort of thing. And then I've like.
Yeah, these are good. They're.
It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't a relationship that was going anywhere. But
yeah, I had a couple. The girl who was into bondage.
And the sex was terrible, by the way.
It's
like
always terrible. Maybe I like intimacy more than sex.
Yeah.
I like the hunt and I like the intimacy.
Having sex with somebody you don't know it generally sucks.
When you're young,
it's not enjoyable.
When you're young, it's like, yeah, I tricked her. Gotcha. She thought I was cool. But when you're older, so anyways, Richard's asshole is.
It's beautiful.
Sorry, Richard's.
Hey, Sylvie.
Fiance just won.
Hello.
Hello.
There's a lot of shisha going on here.
And we're talking about asshole eating.
He is. We're not.
Hey, don't blame me.
You opened that door.
I didn't make eye contact with you, Jason. I think Jason is jealous.
A little bit.
We just like, you know how it happens. Like a couple of guys get together. Before you know it, there's 4 shishas going.
And we're complaining about women in politics. Literally, we're living what our parents did in the 1950s.
I love that
60s.
he's just sort of all the bad stuff he's saying. Hey, it's a cool tactic.
That's it, guys. This is the last time I'm doing this podcast. I can sense it.
Not if you keep these stories coming. that motorcade story really did it for me.
But for real, guys, like, don't you find that making out? Are you single right now, Jason?
Terribly.
Yeah. Are you into one night stands?
Never was.
Okay, that's good. That's, as I said, like, I'm growing into being that guy. Like, but I wasn't never a one night stand before, but I was proud of, like, yeah, you know, like a girl found me hot and wanted to fuck me. That was like part of my pride. But now, how can I say this? Like, my self-worth, self-worth isn't associated with that anymore. So now I was like, why would I do it? It's just like you feel empty, and I don't like putting myself in that state of mind because it affects my creative output. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to do that. But I still enjoy women. I think women are amazing. So if I get to make out with one,
I think I'm a lot like you on that. I'm definitely more into the intimacy and I don't necessarily need it to go to be like an Italian romance film every time. But I don't feel like there's any point to it if you're not in any way intimately connecting with the person, you know.
The sex is not as good.
But I mean, there's just no point. There's just no point at that point. You're just like just grabbing some stranger, and then to me that it's, first of all, it's unhygienic. I have a problem with that. It's unhygienic. You don't know where that person's been.
The best sex is not hygienic, in my opinion. Honestly,
no,
the best sex is. I feel
it is.
dirty, like, ugh.
It's hygienic.
I don't agree. I don't like hygienic sex personally. I like it when it's a bit.
I didn't say sterile, fucking sweatless.
Baby wipes before you have
with
sex.
like, yeah, none of that. No. There's nothing wrong with sweaty sex and all that other stuff. But I mean, like,
and I'm out of shape. Fucking, it's sweaty making out.
just going home with somebody like off night who just needs to get laid. Like, I'm not your man.
Well, it's not only getting laid. Is that you could sense, especially. Again, maybe what I'm saying is sexist. If it is, please. But when we were kissing, like, you could feel that she wanted
to get laid.
Not get laid, but she wanted more.
She wanted more.
Of course.
Then what the fuck?
But as I told you, it's not. I'm not
Yeah,
there
I mean,
mentally.
You know what? Fair enough.
I'm dating comedy right now. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm
Jesus
dating
Christ.
comedy. That's my comedy is my number one focus right now.
It's kind of the gentlemanly thing to do, right? Like if she's
Make out, give her a couple of orgasms, and go home.
And if she's looking for more intimacy, and
Yeah.
then you're prepared to, if you know that you're just not there
We're not kids.
mentally,
Exactly.
then you would be kind of being disrespectful by leading her on,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That it's going to be more than it is. Like one night stand for like when it's clear that it's a one night stand and both people are into it. There's no problem with that.
Yeah, of course not.
But one person wants more and the other person knows they want more and they know that they're not prepared to give that and they continue with it. That's
There's nothing
different.
wrong with that, but maybe it's I'm more conservative. Maybe as I grow older, but it's the emptiness of it. Like you still feel empty afterwards. You still. It's not used. It's not. You still feel like
Cheap.
Yeah, cheap. That's the right word. You still feel like ugh. And I don't know. If I want to make a woman feel cheap, I must really love her. You know what I mean? Like,
I have to love you to mistreat you.
yeah, I think that's a Steve Martin line.
Is it?
Yeah, like it's true. Like you to really overpower and consume the woman you love, you gotta really love her to let you consume.
You know, when I'm telling you you're overthinking this shit,
course.
I mean it in the most sympathetic way because I tend to overthink things all the time. I keep telling myself that this is the reason that I'm not connecting and not sort of getting my head on straight when it comes to the dating game and all this stuff. Then I consistently come across just like anomalies where I'm like, okay, that guy doesn't give a shit and he seems to be doing all right. That girl seems to be fine, but there's no answers.
Yeah, but you're a smart guy.
There's
and
no
you're an artist.
mechanisms.
You see that it's a facade. Everybody, when I walk in a bar right now, you're like, oh, everybody's like in a movie where you're supposed to be happy. Nobody's really happy. If you're 40, you don't want to be in a fucking singles bar trying to pick up
Hell no.
a hot single mom with your minivan.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to fuck you in your minivan. Oh, sorry. Let me just take off the baby seat before we make out in the back seat.
I have no problem with that. Just ladies, if you're out there, I'm perfectly okay. I'm also really good at putting in and removing baby seats. I've done it enough times.
He's a good father, ladies.
I've got those skills. I can pack
How
your
old are
trunk.
It's in his
How old are you, Jason?
Tinder profile.
I should do that. I'd be like, I can pack the fuck out of a trip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can Tetris the shit out of your trunk.
I can put shit in your trunk that you never believe fit in there, and I will.
I keep
There's a
tampons in my washroom just in case you need any.
I
There's a
know.
sexual innuendo in there somewhere.
Of course there is. I know. I know when to stop for gas. I have maps. I just all kinds.
I don't mind if you leave a toothbrush here.
Exactly. I feel so pathetic right now.
Should I say it? I was like, should I do it?
No, but that's one thing that I definitely, apart from doing the very classical thing, which was like, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to get back on top of things, which is everybody.
On top of things. Hey, come on. Richard, you let that one go.
Madame Tish.
All night.
But what are you looking for?
What am I looking for? That's a good question.
First of all, how old are you?
I'm 38.
38. Okay, so 38, you can really date like a 22-year-old.
That's what every other 38-year-old is doing, and I have no interest in that.
No, I don't think so. That's I'm at the age where I get to go on like a date on with 22-year-olds. And honestly, dude, I think I'm getting too old for this. Like, this is true. This is an actual conversation. I had a girl. She was 22. I don't know if I should say that. But okay. There's a part that I will not say, but I'll say this part. So we're talking in my car.
I like the story already. Go on.
We're talking in my car.
You gonna finish that?
And we have enough to make. We'll take a break after this story,
Go
and
on.
we'll light up charcoal and
I
we'll make
got
some
beer.
more.
Go on.
Some mango. So we're talking in my car, and she was complaining about her parents, and I forgot that kids complain about their parents. She's like, I swear. She was like, I swear. She's like, oh, my parents are always trying to brainwash me. To which I responded, yeah, that's called raising a child. That's their job.
That's a great line.
Kimberly.
You're funnier than you were last time. I'm kidding.
I've grown. I learned. I've seen things, man.
No. That's hilarious. That's exactly true.
Yeah,
100%.
It's funny. Like we're in my car. We just made out. I'm caressing her boobs, like on her shirt. It's just her head is on my shoulder, and I'm just caressing her, and I'm giving her life advice. She's like, Amer, can you like stop doing one of the two things? You can't give me life advice and caress
And
my
kiss my
boobs.
boobs.
Just one of the two. Like it shows the age difference and it's freaking me out. I'm like, that's
How self-aware of her to realize that it's true.
yeah.
Wait,
She's
that's not the
super smart.
question. Which one did you stop?
I
Life advice?
continue doing both. I'm like, fuck it, I'll be the creepy old guy. You know what? So I remember when my dad told me that we're moving to Montreal. He's like, Amer, we're going to live in Montreal. It is an island. You can't tell a 7-year-old he's gonna live on an island and expect him to imagine Boulevard des Carrés. All right?
You should podcast from your car.
I thought about it because I have amazing conversations
You
with my
should
clients.
literally.
Like,
There's no
amazing,
law against it.
deep conversations with people. Open up in a car. I think the hypnotizing thing, like you're in a car
Dude,
and you're
you
saying into the
may
nothingness
you
of-
may have just stumbled onto the next big thing.
Yeah, I think that could work.
You get it. The person gets in. If it gets good, you go. Listen, can I turn on this?
I've been
recording?"
recording for the past
No,
10
no.
minutes.
You tell them, look, it's completely anonymous. I run a podcast
Yeah.
and I talk to people because the conversations are really great. Any part of this that you want cut out, just tell me. And I just, if you're down, let's talk about this.
There's also the what is it? Comedians riding in cars.
Comedians
thing.
in cars getting coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I like. I have a serious side. I have like a deep serious side.
Yeah.
And I like to use it when I'm in I love to get to know people and just ask the right questions to get to the, like a pinball, like ping, 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 ping. And then you get to the core of what you want to know. And I love asking all these questions to get to the core, which is
Right.
why I want to ask you, Jason. So you started working out. How's that going out for you? I'm going to be your therapist right now. You've been...
I've started working. Yeah, I've been going pretty hard for about a month now.
How do you feel about that?
Great, actually.
Yeah?
Because it kind of fits my schedule. I kind of get to do, I get to take my kids to the daycare, to the summer camp. I get to stop by my my hairdresser's barber and chill with him for a while, have espresso. Shout out to The Economist, who's like, we sit outside like a couple of gangsters.
Just say a couple old people.
Gangsters. He's Greek, so he looks gangster.
Is this the guy from Les Mecs Cheveux?
Yeah, they make cheveux, man.
What's his name?
Steve.
Steve.
From Les Mecs Cheveux.
What's up, Steve?
What's up, dude? Good friend of mine, and he makes a mean motherfucking espresso.
Nice.
And I stop by Little Italy. I pick up some of those breakfast.
When do
pizza.
you work out? We haven't yet got
Hang
into
on,
the
I'm
gym.
getting there. Let me set the scene.
Wait. Then I have a nice salami sandwich. Then a bowl of ice cream.
Then I fall asleep a little bit
Then
for
a
a couple
shot.
hours.
Exactly. And then I go to the gym. I think I found the error in the...
In the regime.
You need to develop habits. This is what I've been working on for the
No,
past
hang on.
Yeah.
This is a routine. It goes like this: get up at 7, sometimes a little earlier. Get the kids ready. Put my gym clothes on. Pack my towel, my bottle, whatever. My keys, my shit.
Yoga pants. Show that booty.
No yoga pants.
Yoga shorts.
Sorry?
Yoga shorts.
No yoga gear. I have a problem. Like, what's wrong with sweatpants? That's what they were made for.
Dude, I have the same shorts since I was like 19.
There you go. Walk my kids to their respective, holding cells, holding areas. Say goodbye to them. On the way back, stop in Little Italy, get a little breakfast pizza because they make these delicious little mini pizzas.
Before going to the gym.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little fresh pizza dough with an egg and a piece of ham over it. And it's perfect. It's just like, it's this big. It's like the size. It just fits in your hand, and it's like you've got breakfast. It's all there. Stop by Steve's, have an espresso.
What time is it by then? After the espresso.
This is like, now it's 9:15. All right, it's 9:15. We're sitting outside of the barber shop having espressos and smiling and winking at all the daycare workers that come by with the babies because there's a bunch of cuties. And they say hi, we say hi back. My son also passes by because the daycare is next door. I wave to him. And then he gets his customers turn to come in, so I say goodbye for the day. And 2 blocks away is the gym. I go in there and I go hard for an hour. Then I go home.
You have a trainer?
No.
Get a trainer.
No point.
No. They have a use. They have a use.
What's the use?
Your goal is to be as efficient as possible. You know what I mean?
Not for me. I've done that. I've done the program. I
Mhm.
get it.
Mhm.
If you're on a specific goal, you want to lose this much weight, you want to build upper mass, the bottom mass, you want to get an effect, whatever.
You want to develop healthy rituals. That's
For
what
sure.
you're gonna do.
But at this point, I've done enough martial arts in my life and enough training of some sort that I figured out the stretching. I figured out when I need to hit the cardio. When I need to do weights, which days to do what, and if it's not 100% effective,
Yeah.
and if someone could fix the routine to make it more efficient,
Yeah.
like I don't really care about that. This is my time. I'm using it, and the beauty of it is after I'm done,
Yeah.
I grab my shit. I go, stop at the grocery store, pick up a couple of things, salad stuff, go home. I make myself a little like healthy banquet, greens, you name it. Then I relax a little bit. I do get some work done. Then I cook food for when my kids are going to get home, and I take off to work.
All right. That's
It's a beautiful thing.
What time do you start work? It seems like you have a very
Afternoon.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a good schedule. I mean, it's not an ideal schedule, but I've made the most of it, basically.
No, that's an amazing schedule. If you get to start work, like if you have your whole morning, I'm discovering, since I work at night, and lately I was sick last week, so my whole schedule got fucked, and now I wake up at like 7 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I discovered the joys of mornings.
It's great.
It's amazing.
I
People
realized
are friendly.
I wasn't built for this like going in at like 6 in the morning to work. I used to do that. I can't do it. It's like my brain doesn't actually turn on till like 11. I can do work, but my brain just does not turn on till at least 10, 11 o'clock.
I think nobody who works at an office's brain wakes
Possibly
up before.
more people are like me than I realize. Yeah. But I just see the people and how stressed out and how tired and how blown they are in the morning, and I realize like that's a reality, and I might have to go back to that schedule one day. But I could not tell you what a relief it is to have mornings.
They're amazing. But I don't understand so what I do, my ritual is that like I wake up, write in my journal, write some comedy, and usually I go for a walk. I go like for an hour walk. And I go for an hour walk like on a Tuesday 11. And you see people on the streets. I like to walk on Saint-Hubert.
Yeah.
I told you. It's just, for me, that's a Montreal. It's a
Plaza.
There's nothing more Montreal than Rue Saint-Hubert from Jarry to like Saint-Zotique. This is my I walk for an hour on there.
Okay.
I stop there. I grab an ice cream, a couple of Jamaican patties. Living the life. And you see people like, who are these people?
They just walk around.
What do you do? It's a Tuesday at 11. Clearly, you're not an artist.
Where the fuck are you going?
Where are you going?
Where are you coming from?
Where are you coming from?
Yeah.
Who are you? I want to interview them. I am fascinated by normal people.
This is still your podcast, man. This is more stuff you could do.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Amer. I'm sure you'll find it.
Like there's a lady that sells spinners.
Yeah.
Like fidgets. What do you call them?
Fidget
Fidget
spinner.
spinner.
Fidget
Yeah.
spinners. That's all she does. I see her every day. She has no teeth. None. 0 teeth. She just sits at the corner and she has her. And they're $2.50 by the way. I don't know how much you paid for yours, Richard.
$9.99.
God damn! You could have gotten one from $2.50 from a.
But I love that she's.
I went with a premium one.
Oh.
I love
It spins for longer.
only the best for Richard.
Only the best for
That's
Richard.
right. It's got sparkles in it.
I love that lady's crazy, but she's like up to date on the various fans. Right? I love that.
I know what those kids are liking
I
these
love those
days.
contrasts. She's not trying to sell Tamagotchis or
She's on Reddit. I'm like, fidget
spinner. Yeah, she's probably a millionaire secretly. This is she just snapped.
So the fact that she doesn't have teeth is like a personal choice.
It's
She's
just
like, you know what? I want to give good blowjobs to my husband.
Maybe.
Forget the teeth.
Maybe. Richard, you got a routine? What's your thing?
I don't really have a routine.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't put myself in that category. I'm a late night guy.
Yeah, I know that about you.
Yeah, I do my best work in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, what do you think that is? I get very like
Are
creative.
you
at
like
night, too.
is your job creative? I remember you're in marketing. I don't know if it was creative or more analytical.
my 9 to 5. I mean, it has a creative
Yeah.
element to it. Yeah.
Mm.
Basically, just trying to figure out a bunch of different strategies that are going to work the best.
You smoke
but,
weed at night when you're working?
Not usually, but for certain tasks, I find it helps. Yeah, it really depends. Depends on what I'm trying to do at that point. So, like, I'm a person who has a lot of different projects going on at any given point. So, but I tend to put my best work in between like 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and then it starts to sort of slowly decline from that point. But
And just weird ideas like, what about a giraffe that can skate? You're like, what?
A llama.
A lot.
Yeah.
See?
I used to be like that too, but of course, with kids, it's not tenable.
Yeah, you can't do it with kids.
But do you find that kids feed your creativity? I'm assuming. I mean, I look at all my favorite comedians like
They
Louis
do,
C.K.
and they provide material. I don't know if they feed the because now it becomes even more. You're even more guilt-ridden when you take time to write your material and work on your stuff. You're even more guilt-ridden because you're like, this is father time that I'm not spending with them. But at some point, you just got to do it.
Well, you have this podcast. That's your creative outlet. I mean, you can't go to shitty open mics like I do and perform in front of 5 chairs. I mean, you gotta take care of your babies.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not as big of a deal as people think it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It scares the shit out of me.
People overestimate.
Which is why I don't trust 30-year-old women with their
I
content.
mean, I'm lucky, even though I'm no longer with the mom, like we have an understanding,
And
And
it seems like you have the parenting thing down to kind of a science.
to a certain degree, I would say so. I mean, we don't have answers for everything, but we're lucky. We naturally understand what the patterns are, and we take them out, and we take them to the beach, and it's not that big of a deal. A lot of ado is made. However, certain considerations need to be made, but people tend to write off people with kids that are not typical in the sense that a lot of people, especially Arabs or any person from like a more traditional culture, once they have kids, there's almost like you're forced to now fall in with the other ones that had kids. And you're like, you join the clan. You move out to that area, and
you're a little unusual, though.
Of course.
In general, but like as far as your parenting style goes, I would say like you haven't disappeared because you had kids,
right?
Like you're still around. Like
yeah.
We're going out on a Friday night and stuff, and you've worked it out so that,
Well, I never disappeared.
Maybe it helps that you're divorced.
Well, no, but that's recent. That's relatively recent.
Very recent.
Like how many?
But
we went 15 years hard.
But they've always like arranged it in such a way that like you're still around for.
So we just need to get you laid, basically. So you got the parenting well, the career is going well, you're working out. To hang out at Taverna a bit more often.
A lot of people do disappear when they have kids.
This is what I was going to say.
They just become.
There's people that disappear. There's people that disappear just with girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get a girlfriend, boyfriend, they're gone. You never fucking see them.
Or move to the suburbs, or
a lot of people when they have kids, obviously they do the white pickets fence thing, Laval or South Shore, one of the two. They move either north or south, or all the way east, all the way west, whatever. And then you kind of join this community of everybody's in the same lot. And I don't know that I ever made like a concentrated effort not to join that clan, but I think subconsciously I was like, nah, that's not me. I can be around my friends. I can go out. I just need a little bit more heads up. But I also spend a shit ton of time with my kids. I love my kids.
We didn't need to have a funeral for our friendship when you had kids.
Yeah, we have a podcast, for fuck's sake.
Do you guys see each other often? Like what, once every 2 weeks? Because my best friend, Guillaume, he has a baby, and I see him like once every 3 weeks. But we have like deep conversations.
Well, a baby is also a different deal.
Yeah. Well, he's maybe one. I should know. I'm his godfather. But he's like
the first 2 years are a little bit more hands-on.
Yeah,
like you need to be a little bit more in the shit.
But his mom is amazing, so
that makes a
alpha mom,
huge difference.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
Be careful who you have kids with, kids.
Yeah. Was it when you see if a guy gets a luxury car and he has a kid, or a sports car, he's a shitty dad. He's basically like he just doesn't give a real fuck. Like that, he's number one still in his mind, And that's the thing. I'm realizing more and more.
Preparing for the upcoming divorce.
Maybe.
We have a weekly podcast, and we see each other.
Very, very
oftentimes
frequently.
Another time. Yeah.
Yeah, but these friendships are important. Like when I go over, I'm starting something in my brain right now. Is that every time I feel that I miss somebody, instead of just thinking about him, I just message him or I call him. Like, no, if you popped in my head, like why does this person pop in my head?
Yeah,
it's because maybe this is what missing is. You're like, oh, he pops in my head.
Yeah.
So I'll message him like, hey, let's go grab a burger. Let's go grab a beer or ice cream or whatever. Like this is I guess I'm assuming this is what my brain is trying to tell me when
Right.
somebody pops in your head. Like, oh, I guess I missed this fucker. Let's go have a beer.
Honestly, because I never became part of the married clan, the father, the parent, like going to each other's barbecues forever. Because every week, if you know enough parents, there's a fucking kid's birthday every weekend. Or let's all go to this place or that place. I have single friends. I have married friends. The only thing, the real challenge actually after 15 years is just to shed what I call the taken man's mojo. Because for 15 years, excuse me, I need to take a sip.
There's more in the fridge. The delicious mango.
I'm good. For 15 years and beyond, 15 years, I dedicated myself to one person, and it was not a huge sacrifice. I'm a one woman man. Like I'm not even saying that to impress anybody.
You heard that, ladies?
No, but it's always been my case. It's always been my case. It's not even just for noble purposes. This is too many fucking headaches.
I know.
I never understood this, like 7 different fucking people in your life. Like,
it costs so much money.
Who's got the time?
Who's got the time? Who's got the... And it's not hygienic. But anyway.
Always back to the hygiene with you.
Yeah, there's a thing with me in hygiene. But anyway, the point is...
it's money, him, it's hygiene. What about you, Richard? What about you?
I don't know.
The silent observer.
He's going to go like, I don't really have a thing, which is a great cover.
And then we find out like he used to get choked.
Who knows?
Well, who doesn't?
So yeah.
The taken man mojo is basically like at some point you lock in. It doesn't mean you don't find other women beautiful. It doesn't mean you don't feel certain attractions over the years to somebody who you're compatible with, whatever, but you are always committed to your partner.
Yeah.
So
your team, yeah.
You get into that mindset, then you also become known as the guy that was with someone for 15 years. So during that 15 years, my friends went through a bunch of relationships. Some of them are going out together now, like the exes have paired up. A bunch of, people have lived three, four lives.
That's weird.
While I was always in this one stable relationship. And you become the guy that's in the stable relationship. So when my shit came to, its conclusion, and it wasn't even messy. That's the thing. It wasn't even like a huge, I'm extremely lucky from that sense that we came to an understanding. And, even though people intellectually know that I'm now single, they still kind of look at me like, oh, he's the dad, husband dude.
You're the dad.
Yeah,
You're not the puppy.
It's almost like it's hard for people like to imagine you as a sexual being or as a person who now may be interested in that kind of life again.
And you forget how to flirt. Even me, like who's been single, you forget how to. As I said, that's why I give her life advice because you forget how to flirt. And part of me doesn't give a
signals. You don't even know. You're like, is she smiling at me, or she just smiles at everybody? I can't tell. I don't know. I've been at. It's like I keep telling people it's like I've been in prison.
Yeah, it's true. And then you're out. You're like, ooh.
You see a hands-free headset. You're losing your mind. When you went in,
but what's your plan? Do you have a plan?
The first Motorola phone came out. When you went in, when you came out, people are like talking into their watches. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
But do you have a plan of attack? Are you going on dates? Are you
here and there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you get
I don't really know because the online stuff doesn't really.
It's I used to be on Tinder, but
it's depressing.
It's not. It is depressing for our age. Yeah, it's a young man's game. Also, it's just an ego booster. Like maybe it was a dating service back then. Now it's just a.
I just.
Or maybe I'm just not getting laid through Tinder. Maybe I don't want to insult Tinder. Maybe it's working magically, just not working for me.
Yeah, some people are getting. For some people, it works magic. They're getting married and shit.
But you know what I rediscovered that I love more, and you will have to discover that because you're an amazing conversationalist. Just talking to girls. Just go to a bar like, hey, c'est quoi ton nom? And it's amazing because girls don't know how to react to that because nobody talks to them. They don't know. Nobody approaches anymore. Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah, but I'm not a type. That's my problem.
You're a man.
I'm a man, but I'm not a type. You understand what I mean?
I'm not saying go talk to them as a sleazy guy.
You're a man. I'm not a type.
What do you mean, but you're not a type?
I'm not a type. I'm a unique looking person. I'm unique. I don't sound the way that I look, right? And there's a bunch of things about me that are off. That are off in terms of like they don't fit into a type. And I'm fine with
These
that.
are your personal issues. That
No, they're not. I'm 100% comfortable with who I am.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
so
it's
what?
it's
You don't need to be a type. I disagree with you on that.
not eventually, but in the
You don't have to be
for
a
the
type.
opener,
Yeah, just say hi.
right? Then you either are the exotic guy or you're like they don't know
Dude,
what to make of you.
Dude, the girl you're gonna be talking to are gonna be like 32.
Mhm.
They how can I say this? They're not necessarily looking for a type in the sense that women they mature faster than men.
Maybe
So
it's the petite patrie effect because every fucking guy looks the same in my neighborhood.
That's-
Every single guy looks
yeah.
exactly the same.
yeah, and that's boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't see. I would see it just as a. How can I say this? Maybe you are a type and you don't know. Maybe you're not a type. Who gives a shit about that?
I don't want you to think I'm
idea
down
is-
on myself.
The idea is not you and her. The idea is together. Can you
Sure.
Is it two pieces of puzzle? But unless you go try with different pieces of puzzles,
I think that's
you
maybe
won't.
my reluctance. You know, it's like
go eat ass at Taverna, man.
I don't.
go eat ass at Taverna.
I don't buy this whole type thing either.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
talked
buy
about
it.
it. You've talked about it a few times.
But that's because you love me and you
I-
want me to do well. And
I don't think it's a thing. I just think it's a thing that it's a story you've told yourself.
possibly, I do tell stories.
And honestly,
and very well.
nothing is more ego boosting, or nothing is more like to feel as the traditional man, to be able to approach a girl and have her attention for 15 minutes purely based on what you're saying. For me, that's the highlight of my
Really?
like. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't
'Cause
get a
that's-
high off of that because I
I-
don't have any trouble doing that with anybody.
Exactly. So
But
go
the thing
do it.
is, in the pursuit of potential intimacy or contact beyond just like a friendly conversation, I don't think I know how to do that.
Well, you learn, you practice.
I went in when I was 21, man. I
You-
went
you-
into the joint.
You drop
That's right.
hints that you think she's pretty, and you see how she reacts. It's a ping pong game, right? So you start friendly because you're not a weirdo. You start friendly and you drop in like, "Oh, that's a beautiful dress," or you have beautiful whatever.
I think there's a
That's
second
so-
component to this.
But it's all practice.
The flirtation. I agree with you, and I'm taking your advice here.
In my opinion, and you should not take any advice from me. It's all about being yourself, like your truest self. If you think somebody's pretty, you should say somebody's pretty. Here's the last time I talked to a girl in a bar, and I was quite proud of that. We were in a bar. She was there. I think I was about to go on stage, or I just got off stage. I don't remember. And she was there, and she was stunning. And I was just ogling her from far. Just, like I made eye contact with him when I said eating ass. I was making eye contact with her. She was just mesmerizingly beautiful. Like she looked like a
Richard.
piece of art. Like Richard, exactly. And I was just staring with her, and I heard her say, "Look, I'm going out to get a smoke." I just heard her say that. So I look at my friend like, "Just give me a cigarette." He's like, "I don't want to. Just give me a fucking cigarette." So anyways, I find a cigarette. I go outside, and then she's sitting outside smoking. I'm like, "Oh, can I get a light?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." So she gives me a light, and I just tell her, "By the way, I don't smoke. This is just a reason for me to talk to you." And I lit up a cigarette, and she started laughing, and we ended up having a 10-minute conversation. So it was just that initial, and it was purely honest. She ended up having a boyfriend, but that initial, it was
Spark.
pure honesty. It was just I was not overthinking it, as you were saying. I just went there, and the more you practice that, the more you're like, "Oh, okay, this is how." It's just
But
social dynamics.
I don't have any fear. I don't mean to sort of devalue your story, but I don't have any fear of talking to women or to chatting them out. I could do it fucking all day, every day. That's not a problem.
I can do it all day, bro.
All
no,
day.
for real, all day, every day. Like I don't.
Bro, I'll have my espresso,
in the corner. I have
pump
no
the metal, and then, bro, I'll hit on girls, bro.
pump some iron.
Pump some iron, bro.
But I don't have any hang-ups in that sense. I think the other thing that's happened to me as well is that at this point,
I think, okay, so yeah, go ahead.
At this point, I'm not interested in some fucking meaningless jibber jabber.
I'm not talking about meaningless, but whether it's
like
whether-
some like ha 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 outside smoke. Like I don't give a fuck anymore.
no, but it starts that way.
I want to
and
meet
you're
someone who's lived a little, bit,
okay, yeah, but
and
you gotta
is
start with
beyond that and just wants to fucking like, what's up? How the fuck are you?
No, you
It's
can't.
the interview process, man. You
It's
gotta
not-
you gotta
Okay,
do
yeah.
the fishing.
Don't
like
view
you
it as an
fish.
interview, okay? Don't listen to the guy who's been in a relationship for 25 years. Listen to the guy who's in the
Minus 20.
trenches right now, okay?
But you're fishing, right? Like you throw back the ones that doesn't work.
There's
But you
nothing
keep
wrong
going.
about getting to know the person. It's just that you can't.
I don't like meaningless banter.
Sometimes
What?
meaningless banter is amazingly fun. Oh, all right, yeah.
I didn't say I don't produce it.
But
And
that's the fun.
I mean, I don't like it. It's precisely because that's what I produce the most. Fuck you, Richard. You can have him.
Richard eating ass with Amer and Richard.
You don't even have to go there. Eating ass. That would be the. I would listen to that podcast.
Richard and Amer.
Yeah, we need exactly an intro song
Eating ass
with Amer and Richard and Amer and Richard and sometimes Jason. No, but what I'm trying to say is that you cannot.
Fuck you, Richard.
You cannot. This is the fun. You understand the banter? Like when I see him with his girlfriend, when I see Richard with his girlfriend, I was watching you guys talk. I observe. That's what I do for a living, and it's beautiful. That's
that's a bad example because Sylvie's a fucking genius.
Yeah,
and
there's geniuses out there.
And the sweetest person ever, and you don't run into that. That's not a thing that you run into very often.
Of course, of course you run into. You just gotta go. I think there's a hiccup. Maybe you don't want to share with it, but there's a thing. I see what you mean. You just want the intimacy right now.
No, not right away.
You gotta build.
Honestly, I don't even know
the playfulness. You get the playful. Don't ever underestimate the playfulness of a first encounter with a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I enjoy that playfulness more than anything. You just don't shit on the playfulness. Don't jump into the
you
playfulness. Go for the playfulness.
I'll throw out everything else you've said, but I'll keep that. No, I'm kidding.
Keep the playfulness. That's not
bad advice.
And I'm sure you have it. Anybody who's a good conversationalist is usually they know how to titillate.
But it's not
titillate.
That's what I'm trying to titillate. That's what I'm trying to say is that it's not the ability that I lack, it's the motivation.
I think you're trying to skip a step.
Maybe.
That if I understand correctly, I think that's what you were trying to say, right? Like,
repeat that.
That he's that Jason is trying to skip the step.
The foreplay.
Like skip the playfulness and go directly to the intimacy part.
Well, let's talk.
Like you need to do that first, and then that comes later.
The child in you must become friend with the child in her. You know what I mean? Once the child,
that's beautifully said.
Yeah. Once the child in you, like, oh, okay, he's not just like, I want to have a mortgage, and I want to see if you're a good mom to my babies. No, like, can we be childish together?
See, that's the other thing. I overthink things. Yeah. But what you said there is beautiful, and I'm going to record that because that's beautiful.
It is technically recorded right now.
Technically. I mean, I'm actually going to remember it. And I don't remember much. And I don't know much. But I know
like a girl would enjoy, especially, I don't know about girls in their 20s, because as I said, the last time I went with a girl with her 20s, I held the door open for her, and she accused me of benevolent sexism. So
benevolent sexism?
Benevolent sexism, guys. I'm a benevolent sexist because I held the door open for her.
Makes sense.
I have to say, I started the date by calling her dog stupid. She's like, okay, let's go out, but I just want to walk my dog. I'm like, oh, your dog looks dumb. And she just took it as if I denied the Holocaust. She was, I don't know, girls are really attached. Well, humans are attached to their dogs. I think
maybe you were right.
It looked like a fucking rat.
I think she was dumb. That's my assessment.
She had a PhD in neural linguistics.
That doesn't mean anything.
When she dropped benevolent sexism, I'm like, this is not going to work out.
Emotionally dumb
nice to meet you.
Is much worse than dumb.
Here's the funny part. The date ended up lasting 4 hours. We had a 4-hour date. It was hilarious.
How does that even happen?
Because I'm a good conversationalist.
Wait, did it end in benevolent sexism? Or did it start with benevolent sexism?
It started with me calling her dog look dumb. And then the first part of the date...
As one does.
Yeah. Dude, my parents... I consider... it's a dumb-looking dog. Yeah. Okay. My parents have a cat, and I call the cat Satli, which in Arabic means dumbass. Because he looks like a dumbass.
He just looks dumb.
He looks dumb.
I get it. It's an animal.
And her dog.
But here, there's the whole Disney kids, right? The whole Disney anthropomorphization.
And she thinks it's her baby or something. So anyway, and then she was on the defensive. And every time I did something, I'm a bit old school in my dating. I'll order for both of us. We'll have 2 beers. I pulled that. I'm like, part of me also.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I agree. But here's a part of me. I have 2 voices in my head. So my voice is like, don't do that. And another was like, just do it. There's going to be a funny thing happening after that. Clearly, this is. She's not the one.
I think if you bring someone to a restaurant that you suggest, and you can go do you mind if I order? Because I know what's good here. And then and if it's a cool chick, she'll be like, yeah, she'll surprise me, shit. And it can be a fun little experiment. But she'll have the soup. That's a little fucked up.
We'll both have the cider.
We'll both have the cider.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any information as to what she drank.
We were already. It was mid-date or something. I don't remember, but I remember. And even she said it. She said if somebody would be watching us right now, they would be laughing hard. I'm like, this is what we're. This is dating. You understand? This is how I know you're.
Because you ordered the drinks.
No, the whole interaction. Because she was.
You just guys were not clicking.
We're not clicking at all, but it still lasted 4 hours, which is amazing.
For a shit date, that's forever.
From 9 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have condoms though?
Did I have condoms? I don't remember. Maybe I did. I don't even remember if I had the condom with the French girl. Because
maybe that's what it is. Maybe at this point,
I don't want a one night stand.
I'm not ready for either one.
Maybe I do. If you're hot and if you're listening, maybe I do. I'm not sure. I have not yet decided. Just let's start making out and we'll see where it goes. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe that's what it is. Remember, I'm trying to avoid like all of those awkward like dates that don't work out, and you're like, okay, well, it's been nice to meet you, when you know.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I just spent 4 hours that I could have been doing something else on this pointless fucking. I don't know. Maybe it's all excuses.
I don't know.
Who knows?
For me, women are fascinating, and I talk to them whether it's as when I'm driving for Uber and hang out in bars pretty much like 4 times a day. 4 times a week. So it's just the way they think. I always found women fascinating. It's not gonna whether they think I'm a benevolent sexist or
that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I know. It makes no sense.
Like the one date that I had on Tinder, we didn't have really anything in common. Like, but I enjoyed her company for that evening. You know, like
she is a human.
Yeah, she was cool in her
She's
own
not
way.
just a piece of meat, you asshole.
I would never want to be involved with her in any way, shape, or form. But we ended up staying friends afterwards for a bit.
What does that mean?
Really?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Staying friends?
Yeah.
What does that mean? You hang out?
You live with your girlfriend.
You message each other.
Well, this was
sometimes?
years ago. This was a few years ago.
Stop trying to start shit, Amer.
Yeah. But no, she was.
Your lebs always fucking. Sorry.
No, she was a nice girl, and
was she a Jew?
No, she was Chinese.
Can you time code that? I'm kidding. Yeah. No. So you're saying just enjoy the experience.
No, you don't have to time.
I was joking.
So was I.
Anyways.
My ex was Jewish, and I love them. There's nothing. Not that there's anything wrong.
You know this is all making it just worse, right?
Of course.
Can we get off this and just say one thing? I think your message is just learn to have fun with it again.
When is the last time you had fun?
I think you're just overthinking it.
Yeah.
You
Stop
know,
being
like
me.
when I met this girl, we went to Au Noir.
Oh yeah.
On our first date
Why
because she wanted to go there.
I know.
It's that place where it's like
she didn't
super
get to stare at
dark.
those beautiful eyes.
That's what I said.
Right? It's dark, and you have somebody who's visually impaired that's serving your plate and stuff. She was like kicking me during the meal, and she thought it was hilarious.
That's cute.
Stuff. She was a self-described angry feminist, and we ended up talking. We went
dodged a bullet right here.
We had a beer.
I feel like that's just code for like I'm not gonna go home with you on the first date.
No. I mean, she wanted to. I wasn't into it, but.
Do you have condoms?
I didn't. But, I walked her home afterwards and stuff, and then we continued.
That's the name of this episode. Do you have condoms? That's it.
No, let's try to find it. But every time, guys, it's penis time, and now do you have condoms?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah,
you brought us there. Sorry, go on.
Eating ass, having condoms.
Yeah, but she had some anger issues. We ended up talking.
This is a story that's supposed to make me
while.
want to go out and date again, right?
But she was cool. She was
In what way?
She was a cool person.
Dude, just
like I helped to try to find her a job at one point. It's just you're just making connections with people, and at some point something clicks, maybe, and if not, it doesn't click. But
sometimes
you're just kind of making friends that could end up becoming something else.
When is the last time you had fun with a girl? Just fun, just a funny date. That's dating. It's so fun. I can remember the best date I have.
I had fun, but there were complications. But
somebody got pregnant. Clearly,
no, nothing like that. No,
just fun. Just go to a museum and be childish.
I had some fun for like a couple months. I met some really cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was short lived. But yeah, I had fun. I get it. It's fun.
I'm not talking fun sexual. I'm talking, as I said,
the
child in you
somewhere. Yeah.
And the child in her. Okay, I'll give you an example of possibly like the last great date that I had. I met her off Tinder. I used to have beautiful hair back then, and I had so much money, guys. I had so much money.
You're an engineer.
Oh my god, just swimming in money.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, how do people date poor? I have no fucking idea.
You have idea now.
No, I have no idea now.
You still have no idea?
Eat their ass and I go home. That's what I do when I'm poor. I go to the Vernon. No, anyways.
You put a pamphlet in the back of your car. Be like, hey.
And a baby wipes. Yeah.
So, beautiful girl.
Beautiful girl.
If this is another story where you fucked up something amazing, I'm going to punch you.
Yes, I did. So I meet on Tinder. The back and forth was just beautiful. It was just playful. It was sexy without being too naughty. She's smart. I love smart girls.
I fucking love smart girls.
I cannot date dumb women. I can't. I realize that smart women live sex completely differently. And
there's nothing worse than a dumb person. From that point of view.
And articulate smart. Because there's articulate dumb people and there's articulate smart people. And she was just...
the total package.
The brain on her. And so the first day we were supposed to go somewhere and we're driving. I pick her up. When I picked her up, I got her... Okay, so on that evening where I was supposed to go on a date with her, the mother of my friend died. So I wanted to go to the wake. And then I wanted to go on a date. So I was going to I'm going to buy like white flowers for the mother of my friend, as a polite thing to do. But I don't like buying sad flowers. I like buying happy. When you buy flowers, I like happy
There's
flowers.
enough fucking sadness in that room already. Get some nice. Yeah.
So I bought the bouquet of white flowers for the deceased woman. And like, you know what? I'm going to buy a single beautiful rose for my date. So I go to Marché Jean Talon, chez Daniel. Amazing store. I love buying flowers for women. I love flowers. And I buy the flowers. I'm like, man, this is so cheesy. A first date, I'm bringing a rose. So I bought a block of cheese.
A block of cheese?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I bought flowers. So I pick her up. I'm like, listen, here's the flower. I know it's cheesy, so here's a block of cheese.
You're sweeping me off my feet right now with this story.
I'm when I have money, I can be extremely romantic.
Uh-huh. So far, this is not a big expenditure, but go on.
Oh, wait till you see what happens. So we're driving and we pass by. We're on Du Parc and there's a Portuguese or Greek restaurant, Milos.
Yeah.
Yes. We pass by Milos. I'm like, oh. She says, oh, that's a great restaurant. And I think I've been there once. I'm like, you want to go? She's like, yeah. So we're like, fuck it, let's go. We go to Milos, no reservations. She sweet talks her way into a table. We sit. Amazing date. We're laughing. We're drinking. We're eating delicious food. The bill arrives. I think it was like $450. Oh, yeah. It was fun. We had and we're just laughing.
So you paid like part of a rent.
Yeah. Just so you know, Lucien Bouchard was sitting with his family to my left. And the owners of La Zik MD, were sitting to my right. Everybody was bawling in that restaurant, and we were just laughing and mocking everybody. It was an amazing day. Drop her back home. We make out in my car. It wasn't like in my transition between, was I thinking about stand-up then? I think the idea was starting to brew in my head that maybe I was not a full-time engineer. We make out in my car. Great date. Next time I see her, like, okay, let's go to, I think, Musée des Beaux-Arts or something. So we go to Musée des Beaux-Arts, and we're just laughing, just two kids. And that's what I'm talking about. We're just two childish adults, just running on our knees in the museum, just being childish. And she's a stunning woman. I should say her name, maybe. I think she would like that. She's one of those who's in the cool
Where
circles.
is she? Why aren't you still dating her?
The week where she blew me, I got a blowjob from another girl during the same week, and it just felt dirty that week. It just felt, like when you have two girls with like a 24-hour period, suck your cock. You're like, am I really that guy who has buttload of money and who just takes girls on expensive dates?
Okay.
And then they blow him in their car. Now that I'm like vocalizing it, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Amer? That was the life. The fuck are you doing? Go back to engineering and have sex with models. Like, what is wrong with you? And we ended up having sex, and the sex was great. She's like kinky, and that's another thing, dear listeners. Smart women, they know how to fuck.
Yeah.
Like they fuck at a completely different level than regular women.
Of course.
they consume you and you consume them, and
They meet you halfway.
they're not afraid to like push certain boundaries if they're comfortable with you. So we had sex, and the sex was good, but I just was not there mentally. I'm like, this is.
I'm detecting a pattern.
She
Go
was
on.
too smart. Like, it's not she was too smart for me. Like, this would have been the type of relationship where, like, oh, okay, you're my girlfriend, but I'm free to do whatever I want. Because she's like, oh, I don't care if you cheat on me. Like, I don't believe in monogamy. It was, like, I don't believe in monogamy. Like, she was like, no, do whatever you want. And I'm like, do I really want this? And I just freaked out. And it was, as I said, at the time where I'm like, what do I want to do in my life? I think I just started stand-up comedy. And she asked, let's see each other again. I said no. She said, I only asked twice.
Wow, this sounds
Followed
like
her. Yeah. But I followed her on Twitter for a couple of years, and then we stopped being friends. That's a shitty ending to
That's
a
a
story.
shitty story. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
And now you're dating stand-up comedy.
Now I'm dating stand-up. That should be the name of the podcast.
That's where we should. This is where we should be taking it. To sort of bring this bitch home is what's changed since the last time you were on the show in terms of the comedy. You've made any?
I'm doing more shows. I'm quite happy.
I'm talking about the process. Like
the process. Well, you know me. I'm a process guy.
I mean, you write more than a lot of people I know.
I do, but I don't always perform it.
Sure, but you still write it. That's an important.
Yeah, I try to write, and that when you write, you get to know yourself a bit more. You know that, right? I mean, I'm still, as I said, I'm a new artist, and my idea, and I write. I'm like, oh, this is how I feel about this. So I'm trying to discover my point of view, and I'm clearly not there yet. I don't know who I am on stage, but I'm at a point right now where when I do old material, I don't like myself. I'm like, I'm not that guy anymore. Wordplay, doing my dad accent. Actually, I still enjoy doing my dad's little Arabic accent, but I'm enjoying the growth. I'm enjoying observing myself. But that's the problem when you enjoy observing yourself because you're always looking for material. You're not in the moment as much as you should be. And this is where the overthinking comes. Where I'm with a gorgeous 5'11" French girl with coupe garçon. And I'm like, I don't trust 30-year-old with condoms. You understand? I'm not in the moment. I'm not consuming the present as much as I should. So that's like, I think what's my next step is learning how to be in the present, and then maybe afterwards go over my day and like, oh yeah, there's something funny in there, instead of always being like, is that funny? Is that funny? Is that funny? Is that funny? Because I'm not. You understand what I mean?
Totally.
Like, can I make something out of this? Yeah.
All right.
So that's again, that's a shitty ending.
No. I'm listening. This is interesting stuff. I'm just wondering. I'm always curious to see how people have grown or not, or how's your comedy coming, Richard?
I have no comedy. There is no comedy.
If we keep this podcast going for another hour, we're like, so Richard, what was the first time that?
The charcoal's going to die in about 20 minutes.
You're going to find us dead.
We can stop the podcast when the charcoal dies. It's up to you.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm enjoying the comedy. I'm enjoying performing outside of Montreal.
Uh-huh.
I started performing in Kingston and in Ottawa. August. Wait, I should get my dates out before the show ends. Yeah, I'm enjoying performing outside of Montreal. It's great. It's a completely different audience.
Of course.
You go to a city that, performing a bunch of 40-year-olds. They don't get your Tinder jokes. They're like, what is this Tinder? Guy trying to get laid with his phone. Get out of here. We got to pay our mortgage here.
As well they should.
I hear Ottawa is really good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Next time you go, man, let me know. I've never been out there.
Ottawa?
Yeah.
I'm going. Well, I'll let you know now. All right. Well, here are some dates, guys, in case you enjoyed my eating ass stories. August 21st, I'll be at the ComedyWorks. Monday, August 21st, at the ComedyWorks. August 22nd, I'll be in Gatineau doing Höpenmyke.
Mm-hmm.
That's with an H.
That's a new room, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a new room. I think a guy called Dominic Porter.
Uh-huh.
I heard great things. August 23rd, I'll be in absolute Kingston. It's a cool place. It's in the middle of nowhere, man. It's so fucking
awesome.
far. Yeah, 6-hour drive for a 6-minute set. That's
great.
Yeah.
An hour a minute.
Yeah. August 16th, I'll be in absolute Ottawa.
Wait, August 16th?
Yeah, August 16th in Ottawa. August 21st, ComedyWorks in Montreal. August 22nd, Höpenmyke in Gatineau. August 23rd, in absolute Kingston. And probably doing all the open mics in the city, trying to fine-tune the jokes about my racist grandma who hates the Jews.
It's been a really busy for me lately. And now it's ridiculous with when I told you my routine. But working has killed my nights most of the time, which are prime comedy nights. But I will be. I still managed to get. I'm gonna be doing the art loft for the first time.
Nice. It is an amazing room.
Yeah, people keep telling me.
Oh my God, they did such an amazing job running this room. I hope it never does. Honestly, it's.
I can't wait to see it. I heard so much about it. I was just like, I want to do it.
Audience is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who run it are amazing. You go in, room is packed. People are drinking. They're smoking. Everybody it's. If you have good material, you'll do great. It's such.
How long is the set? I don't even know.
It's depends. You should ask Chris or Quinn.
Quinn, yeah.
Probably they'll give you like 6 to 7 minutes or something.
Cool.
When are you at the Art Loft? Do you know?
I think the 18th. Let me just double check right now. I'm going to do the Art Loft definitely in August. Hang on a second. Yeah, the 18th. And
You're at Comedy Abroad too, right?
that's the 27th. Yeah, always a good time. John Seelig, Oren.
Shout out to John.
So yeah, I love the fuck out of that venue too.
Which
I love
one?
the Comedy Abroad. I love the fact that it's just like a roll of the dice every time.
And you have people from everywhere.
You never know where they're from. I think that's probably one of the most unique rooms in Montreal for that. Like, I just find that's a great environment.
I should speak with John. I haven't done it yet.
You never done it?
No.
Oh,
it's
man,
great.
it's such a trip.
Yeah.
It's a great room.
You never know who's going to show up, and if you can do a little crowd work, it's amazing. If you
It's usually a
sometimes
really friendly crowd.
they're very into it. Yeah, because
Tourists are extreme. They're a tourist. You cannot be in a bad mood when you're a tourist.
plus there's
Right,
nothing
yeah.
going on, right? Unless they've done all their activities for the day.
Yeah.
They're kind of not ready to turn in yet. It costs them nothing. They just come downstairs and they come and hang out, have a couple of beers, and take in some of the local flavor, you know?
You should contact Sid Kular. He's the new booker at the ComedyWorks to showcase for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring your tight five. He's a cool guy. He's a cool
You
guy.
have to showcase for him to get...
Well, he's the new management.
Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I saw there was new social media presence. So what's the deal now? How does this work?
He's the new, he's managing the booking and he's managing the comedy room.
Okay.
I don't know exactly everything he does, but this is what he does. He's the new booker. Great guy. He's the brother of Sugar Sammy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard about that.
So he's like deep into comedy. He knows his shit. Great guy. Super friendly. Super like authentic. You know.
Uh-huh.
It's
So you
funny.
contact him and you
just message him. Something. Hey,
and tell him...
I would like to. Amer told me. Drop my name. Amer told me that just you'll go on a Monday. You'll do your tight five and see what happens.
Thanks so much for being on the
My
show,
pleasure.
man.
Thank you guys for having me.
It
was
feels
fun.
like you had us on, really. When you, that's what I'm starting to feel like that about it, Amer, and it was like a night off for us.
And the shisha definitely adds something to the podcast. I
Yeah.
think we're going to have to do this more
Anytime,
often.
guys. As long as I have tobacco.
But thank you for sharing. I know this is personal stuff you brought here. This is not. You didn't bring like a couple of fucking
Brought my
6-pack or
babies.
whatever. You brought your real researched fucking traveling shisha gear. You brought your special briquettes or whatever they're called from that you got your parents.
They're coconut charcoal.
from fucking Lebanon, right?
The charcoal, no, they're from Andalus.
Andalus. That's even cooler sounding.
Andalus, the store.
Ah, shit. I wanted to be from like in a Greek island somewhere. They're from Andalus. With a little lisp.
From Andalus.
Andalus. The best.
An old man,
A one-eyed man who lives with pelicans. Yeah.
He doesn't sell them to you. He gives them to you.
But first
If you deserve them.
you have to answer an enigma. No, you brought out all your shit and really appreciate it, man.
My
It's
pleasure,
like,
man. Anytime, seriously.
we're feeling the love. The mango juice was great.
Shout out to my mom who
Shout
let
out.
me take her blender.
Yeah, and and your parents for getting you out of a war-torn fucking country and raising you here,
Yeah.
where you
God
can be
bless you,
funny
Mom.
for a living.
Well, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, you're welcome back at this table.
Thank you so much,
Anytime.
you guys. This was a lot of fun.
That's
I really
good
like it.
times.